All right, everybody. John out here with you. I'm alongside Alec Nava. I'll get him in here in a moment. It is an opportunity on a Thursday to go back to this series. I've been waiting for this. The Florida Panthers, head coached by Paul Maurice. It sounds like this. I'll explain. Sam Bennett, Matthew Tkachuk, Evan Rodriguez, Nico Mikula, Brandon Montour, Anton Lundell, Itu Lusteronen, Vlad Tarasenko, OEL, and Dimitri Flanovy, Kevin Stanley, Stephen Lorenz, Colin Poso, there's Sergei Bobrovsky in net. So for Peter Laviolette, the New York Rangers, Mika Zibanejad, Chris Kreider, Filipino, Ryan Lindgren, Adam Fox, Vinny Trocheck, Artemi Panarin, Alexei Lafreniere, Keandre Miller, and Braden Schneider. It's Alex Wimberg, Jack Rostelek, Capo Caco, Erik Gustafsson, and Jacob Trouba. Goodrow, Will Cooley, and Matt Rempe, with Igor Shesterkin in the goal crease. Alec, I know you've had the privilege to cover this series a little bit more as I transition to a little bit of basketball. Earlier in the week, you've been hockey fresh. I know game one that we covered together, that didn't turn out very good for the New York Rangers in a 3-0. So that seems like a formality here. And this series has been excellent with OT game after OT game since.
We got three straight of such OT games here between the Rangers and Panthers. It feels like it's back and forth. No knowing of who's going to get the upper hand. It feels like, but one can say the Panthers, they've been the better of the two teams in the series, and they're starting to play the way that they've liked to throughout this series. Even with Blake Wheeler returning to the lineup in Game 4 for his first game back since February 15th, in which he was out. He did cheer on his teammates in Game 3 against Carolina. And Philip Keto back into the lineup with Chris Kreider and Mika Zibanejad. Maybe a shift towards the offensive traction that Kreider and Zibanejad need, knowing that they've been held scoreless in this series.
So let me go ahead and a quick reset for myself since we got this here. New York Rangers, they win 2-1 in OT in Game 2. Teams exchange goals in the first period. Trocheck scores early. Verhaeghe. Goodrow gets the game winner just past the 14-minute mark. Goodrow was excellent in the last couple of games. Both goaltenders were as well. Shesterkin, 26 of 27, Bobrovsky, 20-30. In Game 3, 5-4 win for the Rangers. Back-to-back in OT. Teams are tied at the end of the first 2-2. Reinhart netted a pair in the Goodrow for New York. Rangers take a 4-2 lead at the end of the two. Guess what? Lafreniere, Goodrow again. Both get their second of the game. And Goodrow scores an unbelievable shorthanded goal. Florida storms back to take a couple in the third, even the game at 4. It's Barkov and Forsling, and just over a minute apart from each other, 5:04 and 6:58. But New York wins again in OT as Alex Wimberg gets his first of the playoffs. Bobrovsky struggles in Game 3 as he stops 18 of 23, but Shesterkin takes the win, 33 of 37. And then leading up to this Game 5 was the Game 4 result, another OT. Florida wins 3-2. Trocheck scores the opener for his 8 of the playoffs on the power play. It's 1-0 Blue Shirts after 1. Bennett and Verhaeghe power play make it 2-1 Florida after 2. Lafreniere gets the only goal of the third as we go to overtime for a third straight game. It's a 2-2 tie, but Reinhart gets an early power play as Wheeler hooks Barkov. And even though Florida ties the series at 2-2 with a 3, there was a lot of controversy in that last goal call, wasn't there?
Yeah, it felt like there was some more controversy surrounding the decision to just fine Jacob Trouba rather than give him a suspension for Game 4, considering that he was only penalized for 2 minutes for that elbow to the head of Evan Rodriguez. So that's what made Game 3 famous and infamous at the same time. Why say famous? Alexei Lafreniere's second goal was perhaps the goal of the entire playoffs, as if we can argue. It was the biggest moves all throughout the showcase that Towsy had as a first overall pick. Trouba elbow, and subsequently their win result for the Rangers on the way. But one can say, if it's 4 minutes, well, that's questionable considering that Trouba got 2 minors in the way. If you're going to penalize somebody for elbowing someone in the head and then injuring them, that should be 5 minutes.
No doubt about it. In Game 4, Bobrovsky stopped 21 of 23 in the victory. Shesterkin took the loss, but once again, I thought he was peppered well. 37 of 40. I can only look at from Game 1 and then the rest of the stuff from afar because you guys have covered more of this than I have. I'm going to jump back into hockey for the rest of the week. I'm looking at this in a vacuum and saying, look, the Florida offense has played very well for the first 4 games, and yet this series is tied 2-2. And I ask you this, can Igor Shesterkin keep this up? Because he has just been blasted with shots game after game.
Normally the answer would be no. But knowing that Igor Shesterkin, I feel he has the capability to keep this outstanding play up. He is the leader for the Rangers in terms of Conn Smythe Trophy bill voting for a reason. And it's games like these in which he is showcasing exactly that, of his ability to steal games for the Rangers. Doing so from the Carolina series forward. I don't know how many times consecutively the Rangers have been outshot, but it feels like it's closing on the double digits if it's not at the double digits already. He made 37 saves in Game 4. And for the decision by Blake Wheeler to hook Sasha Barkov, I feel that Wheeler is in a pickle. Damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Right.
If you hook Barkov, which set the Rangers up on the PK nonetheless. But Shesterkin, he is the leader of his team front and center. On the goaltending department, Jacob Trouba, he is the vocal leader, but there are times where you have to keep your...
Yes, there is. And again, hopefully on your end, there isn't any minor sound inconveniences because the holder underneath my keyboard and everything broke. So I had to put this on top of the desk. So hopefully there's enough space. You don't hear anything else. Nobody's going to see it on the YouTube side, but a little bit under construction as far as the computer side. We're back. I had to take a break yesterday with all that stuff anyway. You've had your hands full, Mr. Navo, with the Dallas Stars and the Edmonton Oilers. Again, I'll say this again. I did not expect that series to go past 5 games, and yet here we are. And I look at it from the outstretch and say, man, oh man, after last night, I'm impressed with the Oilers, but also I think at this disappointed with the Stars. What was that yesterday?
Yeah, I go the same thing that you're going with, John. What was that? You have a good first 5 minutes of play and you're Dallas. Then everything falls apart. Edmonton scores the next 5, and that's all that. The Oilers side of game, Lincoln, it's time. So you go on and make your adjustments here in the second period. All right, you're testing Stuart Skinner time and time. He's making save after save. In fact, he made saves after you allowed 2 goals in the first 4. Then you go on the power play. Neither team has scored on the power play in this Western Conference final, as insane as it may, considering both power plays are usually so good. For them both to not score this far, and for the Stars power play to allow a shorthanded goal from their player Matthias Janmark. What is going on with these power plays in this series?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure myself. So again, tomorrow is going to be an off day. Plans. Saturday, I'll jump back into this series, and then Sunday, I think I'm going to go ahead and just bite the bullet. We got to go back to Dallas 3-2, and it might be done. I've had a lot of fun in between the Celtics and the Pacers. Game 1 and Game 4 was close. The other day when the Wolves staved off elimination and that Luka Doncic miracle shot, that was a lot of fun. But I haven't covered this series since Game 1. Chomping at the bit. It's kind of like the meme of when you have that guy and girl is with his girlfriend, but he looks back to the other girl because he wants to see what's going on. That's how I feel about this series. I'm excited to get back into it.
You feel this is the main focus of tonight, as opposed to the Mavs and Timberwolves in Game 5, which I know it is a 3-1 series lead for Dallas despite Minnesota's debut alive and handing Kyrie Irving his first loss in a closeout game of his career in his 15th closeout game opportunity. I know Dallas, they have the tools to make it to the finals. Now, Minnesota, they showed that they have heart and they have a pulse.
They do. And again, I was just clarified again as I watch, Alec, and you already know it's a pretty good player. And Karl Anthony Towns, a couple of shots from deep. He's able to knock down 3 in the fourth quarter, kind of turn the tide. He's going to need to play that way again if that's going to end up working out. But we're at MSG. Again, I haven't seen this since Game 1, but we're back here for this Game 5. No quit New York flags fly all the way across the board. And immediately, as we start within the first 6 seconds, this puck's going to go out of play. And then we get a skirmish in between Kreider and one of the Florida Panthers. Surprise, surprise.
It's Aaron Ekman from Florida that we see as we finally onto it, but Kreider and Ekman playing a little bit of tugging and hugging right at each other. And you got one of the best offensive pieces and a defensive centerpiece for Florida as they go tape to tape. Kreider, he may have elbowed away Sam Reinhart, which caused Ekman to take exception to that. Of course, he's going to answer that.
For the rest of it, alrighty, we have some intrigue within the first 6 seconds. We'll do the center ice draw again as this one gets sent down, and immediately we get an ice. So 2 is already within 11 seconds. How do you do?
So with Florida making their adjustments as opposed to what was seen in the first 3 games, they put Verhaeghe on the first line with Sasha Barkov and Sam Reinhart. They reunite Sam Bennett with Matthew Tkachuk. They've had some tremendous chemistry dating back to Calgary. And then put Vladimir Tarasenko on the third line with Angel Luostarinen and Anton Lundell. I feel like they're good adjustments around the top 9. For court, especially the fourth line, putting Steven Lawrence and Kyle Okposo in.
I don't disagree with you. I like the moves there for Paul Maurice. We'll see what bears fruit. Reinhart cross pass. This is brushed to the stick of Shesterkin. Reinhart trying to get to it now. They wanted to sauce it cross ice to Alex Barkov. And this one will go to the left side wall. Puck, put this in the defensive end of the Florida Panthers. We'll see if I can hockey pipe sharp because it's been a few days as this is sent back around the end boards now. Find an entry here for Florida. Long shot stopped by the left pad of Igor Shesterkin. Evan Rodriguez backhand attempt, but a stick in the lane for the New York Rangers. Will push it the other way. It's loft from Kreider. And this slap shot bounces. It stays in play near the right side boards. Intercepted by the blue shirts. It's a race for the puck near the right side dot as players will come together. Florida will watch. Is waved off. Jacob Trouba will send this around as this is lofted up top. Good transition pass up the backhand. Artemi Panarin between his legs, and good defense there for Evan Rodriguez as they'll finish ahead. I think Panarin took about 3 of them in the span of 5 seconds as it's Stanley. We'll go ahead and rip this around the end boards. Opportunity now near the right as it's intercepted by the Rangers. A drop pass for Panarin. Everybody try to get settled right off the rush for Lafreniere. And that one's a left stick save for Bobrovsky as this will go the other way. Rangers have it in their own end. Spin and turn for Alex Wenberg. He already is an OT hero in this series as he'll get his own chip and chase. Play down to the right side. We'll see if there's any bodies that'll get there. Trying to pick it up off the pin. Wenberg held as this is off of a double team now. Florida able to get it out. And they'll pick it up now on the left side red line. It's bounced a few times and then intercepted, and no problem for Shesterkin there. He'll hold.
Kyle Okposo insisted he wanted to get into the lineup because reportedly some of the Rangers fans they were roasting him for being a healthy scratch. Okposo is one of the hardest working forwards in the NHL dating back to his days with the New York Islanders and the Buffalo Sabres. He's played for 2 New York teams. So the Rangers, they're the only New York team had Okposo on their team thus far. He's now with the Panthers, which was his wish. Buffalo granted him his wish. Now he's playing meaningful minutes with them.
Yeah, if he's playing on the bottom 6, I have no problem putting Okposo in. I agree with what you said earlier about Vlad Tarasenko. I think that's where you throw him in as well as we get a whistle at 17:30. I like the lineup. See is what happens, but Matt Rempe has been a lineup adjustment over the last few games. He's not going to play a ton of minutes, but you know what he's going to bring.
Physicality, and that you know what he's going to bring. Even though he's not playing a lot, the Rangers know what they're getting out of him.
Yeah, and it really ignites the fans at MSG. They chant his name quite a lot, even though it's only for a handful of minutes at a time. As Bobrovsky will send this around for OEL. He gets away from a big hit as Florida now tries the right. What a stick handle. That set it up for Stanley, but his shot gets blocked off the backboards. Sent back down to the Florida defense. Carter Verhaeghe will go ahead and get out to his forward position as Ekblad will touch. This one's played in off the wall, and Ekblad's going to go back, so Verhaeghe just ran a lap. He's still trying to run his offense on the left side wing, but it's turned over, and now New York gets a stick on for a moment. Reinhart, it's a 2-on-1, as this is a good reverse hit from Verhaeghe. Gets the puck. Those near the right dot. This shot gets blocked and goes up and out of play, but Keandre Miller laid the boom.
Yeah, good defensive play for the young defenseman. Keandre Miller stayed with this man at the rough side of the ice. Carter Verhaeghe thought he had room. Nope. Here comes Miller to stick that one away to take away all the room to shoot for Verhaeghe. And then another poke on Sam Reinhart at the far corner. Two of the best goal scorers for Florida.
Yeah, he made that look easy, and that's what you like. Again, you got the stick in the lane, you used the body, you didn't trip. That was clean, and as Alex said, two of the best on Florida's side. New York's going to want more of that. I know Igor Shesterkin is a brick wall, and we talked about that a little bit in the pregame, but I do think it's to their benefit to try to limit the amount of Florida shots that they've had in this series, because it feels like through the first 4 games, they could be up 3-1 in this series at worst, if not for the goaltending of Shesterkin. He has been that good. As this is an opportunity 2-on-2 the other way. Panarin will go for a pass for Zibanejad, who tried to send it right through the goal mouth. It goes back to Keandre. Here's a feed there for Schneider. And around for the bread man. This will be an opportunity. Keandre will start it one more time near the right side. Schneider will send it in deep. Good defense there. Bennett will try to backhand this out. He can't get it out, though. Schneider sends it across. Here's a one-time attempt for Panarin. Gets his hand on it. We will get some pushing and shoving with Mika back in behind the net. Now Bennett joins in.
Lots of room for Panarin to poke it through. But do keep in mind it's very small, and there's the margin of error to come and get on it at that type of angle, that little room right between the blocker and the pad. There's no margin of error to poke that through right inside. You have to be perfect on it. Almost was there.
He was, and again, as you mentioned with Bobrovsky, I think he was smart to be able to cover on that left post quickly, because he noticed after the shot bounced off of the glass and almost went back into front of his net, he had to just stay on that, hug that post on the left side to keep the puck out. So good pressure through both teams so far early. The first round there with you alongside Alec Nava. It's good to be back together. We've had a lot of solo calls, both sides of the sports, between the hardwood and the ice. But we really got to be glued. I think this is what we're going to be following for the most part, as this is an opportunity off face-off. This is stick chopped. The Rangers won it, but they couldn't hold it in, and now some serious hits across the glass. One of the Panthers is going to pick up their helmet. They're going to go take a change. As this is across the line, this is onside, and Florida's outstretched pass doesn't hit, breaks a stick right in half, and that might be a penalty call right in front of the bench. It looks like the Rangers are going to the power play.
Angel Losterinen, that was a clear slash right on Alex Wenberg as that stick exploded in half with Losterinen chopping at it. Feels like you got a lumberjack going right onto the ice, because that was a clear whack at the stick.
Yeah.
Clear attempt to break at it. That was the Rangers on the power play. They got their first power play goal this series last game. Perhaps this would be a good time to get their second power play goals.
Losterinen, I mean, that's one chop and immediately goes right in half, and Wenberg's twig didn't even have a chance. That was a good replay shot there for ESPN. So for the Rangers on the ice, Fox, Zibanejad, Kreider, Panarin, Trocheck. As Fox will send this for Panarin, blocked out in front. It goes off the broken stick blade again, this time for the Rangers. Again, if we have any sort of Jake Ottinger play in the goal crease, I think I might lose my mind. Reinhart trying to make a play shorthanded, but Fox was right there. Here's a feed from 50 as it's Kreider. Trocheck on side. Trocheck slows up. Here's a chance for the blow line. Slot Fox. Fox, seam pass to Trocheck. Now to Artemi. Artemi, this pass is too hot to handle for readjust. Now Zibanejad. Panarin. They play catch as it's near the right dot. It's Panarin. Good puck movement here. They don't have a shot yet. Trocheck. This one blocked. Panarin near the left side wall as it's Trocheck. Panarin inside to Kreider. He gets taken down. Still waiting for a lane. There is a screen in front of the net. They got to get this puck to the net, though. Fox. He's waiting near the right side. That's Zibanejad. Panarin missed it all. Rebound off the camera for Kreider. Goes off the outside of the net. As Fox. Panarin one more time. And this one, Barkov, and beautifully sent down the ice, Alec. 30.
Down for the ice. The Rangers are getting some passing lanes, but they need to get more out of this because they're not shooting enough.
Absolutely, as it's Roslovic now. Sent back down for Alex Wilson. We'll play this off the end boards nicely for Hedel. We'll see if Wenberg can get to it. He's going to have to absorb a huge hit. So is Lafreniere. Put back around the end boards now. New York will pinch. They'll hold it in. Again, they've had all sorts of puck possession, but no chances. Kevin Stenlund lost his twig. Yet another broken stick. And I think this bounced out of play. 4 seconds left to go on the Rangers power play, but that's going to expire.
As you see the stars here for the Rangers, they've been having a majority of shots in the first period. That was in game 4. Chris Kreider had a deflection right towards the net on a rebound chance. Artemi, Panarin, the long pass, walked out front, friendly fire off Vincent, Trocheck. Not the way the Rangers want to go. Trocheck got a double overtime winner earlier this postseason. Can't believe he blocked his own man's shot. You're supposed to block shots at the other end, not the offensive end.
He was wearing because he looked like he didn't even get stunned by it, and that one had to hurt. As this one will be sent back down. So Sturkin will slow it down. So again, it's a penalty kill for the Florida Panthers. Rangers had the puck for about a minute and 50 seconds. I don't even think they got a shot, though, for the exception of the friendly fire, as Alec mentioned. As this is now a race for it. Schneider off the back skate. This was not conventional. Play back down. The Panthers penalty kill, 29 of the last 31. 1T. Stop by Shesterkin. This is kept in nicely. Tkachuk, he'll just backhand this one cheaply near the right side of red line. Here's an opportunity. Bennett. Rister. Stop by Shesterkin with the left pad. And now the Panthers are answering with some chances. As is off the spin. Capo Caco trying to Florida. They'll do so successfully. Sent it toward the net. This one will bounce near the right side dot. Florida will go ahead and get squad. Montour with a 100-foot blast and across the red line, stolen by Florida again. As this is now Lindell trying to get a stick lift. They keep it in. Here's a slapper. And now we'll see if the Rangers can do something off the counter. Lafreniere makes his pass. What a skate. As Lafreniere in the net, set up for Panarin. Panarin Rister throwing at the net, stopped by Bobrovsky. He took some contact in front of the crease. As Florida now tries to get this in their own end. Shots are 5-3, and the action's been pretty damn good so far through this Game 5, as this series is tied 2-2. Glenn had Alec Nava here with me. I've been waiting to watch these two teams again since Game 1. Game 1 kind of feels like the outlier as way as this series is going, because it was a 3-0 domination for Florida, and then everything else has been going to OT. Here's a touch. Hedel! What a stop on Bobrovsky! As he brushes side pad. That was right off the backhand. And now Reinhart tries to push the other way. As this is bounced in off a Trouba. Picked up by the Panthers. This will go all the way back down for an icing as Bobrovsky gets his first test.
7-3 to shots for the Rangers. Sergei Bobrovsky fully tested for the first time in this game. So for the full series, it's been just Shesterkin getting most of these tests, but Bobrovsky is what we needed to see from him. All throughout, he struggled in Game 3, had somewhat of a bounce back in Game 4, though the Rangers are doing not really much of their favors at the offensive end. They need to get more on the end. That's a good start.
And again, as they just showed through the ESPN graphic, as the series tied 2-2, 7 goals apiece on both sides. Shots are 77-46 throughout the series so far, with the advantage to the Panthers as they're starting to talk with Tkachuk. We'll go to commercial break, but hopefully we see just as much in this Game 5 as we did Games 2, 3, and 4.
Just as much as we in those overtime games. 4 straight overtime games. Not expected, but not since 2012 between the Coyotes and the Blackhawks. Since we last saw 4 straight playoff overtime games, let alone 5 in a series.
It could happen, and again, it also could happen on the other side where we might see OT in between the Stars and the Oilers. But the Oilers' attack, as we talked about, just was pretty prevalent yesterday. And now, if I'm the Dallas Stars and I go back home, I can say, Alec, both teams have done their job. They've earned a split on the opposite sides of the ice, but I really think Game 5, that's a must win for the Dallas Stars. You got to bounce back after that.
Feels like it went now with the 5 unanswered goals. It is must win back at home. The Stars, they've not played their best hockey at home, as they have done most of their damage on the road. They're now 6-2 because Game 4 was just their second loss on the road in this postseason. But 6 road playoff wins is impressive, but you got to capitalize it not only to win this Western Conference final, but of a Stanley Cup.
Again, Jason Robertson a couple games ago broke out in a big way, got a hat trick. And again, I mentioned in that story in Game 2 when I last covered the series that Dallas is going to need some other scoring from their top stars. We know Duchesne, Roberts, but honestly, I don't want to put all the blame on the 38-year-old Joe Pavelski, but I think they need a series.
Yeah, if they want to get him that Stanley Cup, he needs to step up some more. A bit can be the start, but more from him considering he's 39 and he still looks like an ageless wonder in the regular season. Playoffs, he may be starting to take a step back as noticeable, but we need to see more from him.
Yeah, because again, you already got a lot of pressure on Ben and Sagan, and the youngsters there with Wyatt Johnson, Logan Stankoven. Again, you have to have a team effort for the Dallas Stars, considering that's what they're based off of, and to score that puts pressure on others. And Jake Ottinger, you would expect him to have a bounce back game as well, but you can't keep giving one-time opportunities for McDavid and Draisaitl right off the rush. That doesn't work out very well. But you got 10:30 left to go in our first between the Blue Shirts and the Panthers. We're at MSG. That was a pretty good for a toe drag. Possession has been very good so far in this Game 5. Couple of hits, and near the left side red line, Roslovic pries it loose. This was kept in, and then a long shot from the point from Trouba, sold by Bobrovsky.
Peter Laviolette made this swaps on the defensive errors, reuniting Braden Schneider with Keandre Miller and Jacob Trouba with Erik Gustafsson. Pretty much interchangeable by Liger number 1. Miller with Schneider, that gets more defensive ends. Gustafsson and Trouba, you pair two offensive-minded defensive with one another. Trouba getting some defensive capabilities on that bottom pair of Gustafsson.
I agree with you, Alec. It's kind of mixing two pairings, so I think it makes more sense, gets more balance in there. It's Florida. This shot goes wide. Barkov trying to find it. He'll get it now off the bounce. Near the right side. This is a good pass, pick off. Philip Hedl. Hedl now will send it in deep as this goes in the left side. Well, I have yet another. I don't get last one we covered, but that's kind of been that way in the first for me. But this has been exciting as this is now to the right side. Barkov, spin. He'll try to find space off the backhand. That wasn't a bad idea. He had Reinhart right in front. It was to be sent back around for Reinhart. Bounced off the stick a little high. And now Hedl, as the icing is waved off the Karen. Bobrovsky knows that and will play it for Kulikov. Dmitry Kulikov, the defenseman. Again, he's not going to be known for a lot of points, but you also don't have goals against on his watch, which is also good for the Florida Panthers. It's what you need to have, especially in the third pairing if you're not going to score. Here's a rush for Panarin. He's got a partial chance off some speed. He has to go to the backhand, but that was saved by Bobrovsky. Kulikov gets double-teamed off a hit. This is just kept in by Lindgren. Backing around for Lafreniere. Try to find Trocheck. Again, stolen by the Rangers. In by the Blue Shirts. Adam Fox trying to join in. And now Luosterainen able to steal it, but he gives it right to Panarin. This is Fox trying to get on the prowl here. This one sent in deep, so Florida escapes a little bit of pressure. 7-3 on the shot board for the Blue Shirts. I think it's been a better period, I would say. Not many times that they've been able to outshoot Florida in a given period as we get a late whistle and some pushing and shoving.
Guess who's in the middle of that? Matt Rimpey with Nico Mikkola. Two of the more physical guys in the NHL, especially when we highlight Rimpey, who is known for how physical he is and for his tendency to get into fights.
If I'm Matt Rempe right now, again, that was exciting in his first few games in the regular season. I'm going to continue my role of physicality and lay some hits, but I think I'm going to stay away with the amount of fights because he was getting into some fest, Alec, and that's a quick way to shorten your career.
Yeah, I feel that's the quick way that how a career can. You want to stay cool. I don't give a shout out to him for staying away from fights as teams. The teams that Rempe into some fights later on down for the stretch in the regular season, and Rempe turned down some of them. He wanted to focus on winning now, and I applaud him for that.
So let's do this quick update in the commercial break. Let's go back to round ball because when I covered the game the other day, Doncic, he had a triple double on me. I didn't bring enough energy. I didn't move the ball enough. And he had some games where he held on a little bit too much. Well, within 3 minutes, he's already 4 for 4, 2 for 2 for distance. He's got 10 points as the Mavericks have a 14-8 lead.
Every game has been decided by single digits thus far. It's not like one of those decisive matchups where it's ended 4 or 5 games. It's more of a close type of series where you have to back and forth. The conference field for it. This is that series, along with the Eastern Conference Final between the Celtics and Pacers, where only one game was decided by double digits. It's just more of the close sweep.
Yeah, it's hard to believe as you said that word sweep, and I think about that many games that are that close, but that does happen. It's been very competitive in the Western Conference Finals. We'll monitor that game for you as well. Everything else, again, Boston's waiting until 6th for the NBA Finals to start, and then the only other thing we have on the docket tomorrow are the Stars and the Oilers, and that'll be at American Airlines. They still shipped venues. So it's Goodrow against Stanley. We'll see if anyone gets kicked out of the draw. We'll just do it again. And now Goodrow says, "Drop the puck." We'll just go ahead and change it here. It looks like Will Cooley will take his turn. If there's another kick out, that means Florida's going to get an automatic power play. Don't see that very often, but they figure it out the second time as Cooley wins it. This one's sent in. So Igor Shesterkin's save percentage is absolutely ridiculous, and you would expect that because he's the best goaltender in the world. And you can safely say that now after watching this series, if they can already read those, as this is sent the other way. Here's an opportunity as Ekman-Larsson will flip this around the end boards. Florida try to get in the offensive possession. And now New York, long outstretched pass isn't going to work at all. And the defense is going to have to go back out. Scoring chances are 5-0 New York. And 3 as defense almost runs into each other. Sam Bennett and Montour got to get on the same page. Now they'll play crisscross. Montour off the end boards. This will work for Evan Rodriguez. That was a pretty good play. This is bounced right out in front of the stick lift in a couple opportunities, and Shesterkin bails his team out. That was a crazy carom. And now the other way. This is picked up near the left side dot. A couple reverse hits there for Bennett as he'll solve it. Capo Caco. This will be picked up near the left side red line. Caco trying to find it. Now the other way for the blue shirts, right in off the end boards. D to D. Tkachuk was in their face. Now in behind the cage for Bobrovsky. Lost it off the miss. Florida still trying to get this out. It bounces back to Keon. Florida able to get across that blue line. Opportunity now to down for Jack Roslovic. Roslovic will play it in between his legs and take a change. As Ryan Lindgren, that top defense. They mixed it actually with Keandre Miller as he'll lose the puck. This will be picked up across the New York Rangers logo and sent in by the Panthers. Lindgren was a double team in behind the cage of Shesterkin. Florida on the prowl for this puck. Ekblad trying to find it now. Verhaeghe. The right dot, a tip play that goes just wide as Verhaeghe off the backhand. Both teams exchanging danger chances as it's Ekblad. Verhaeghe through the screen. Beautiful block there for New York. Kreider sends it down. Bobrovsky will slow it down. Now Gustav Forsling will watch all of his forwards get settled here. 7 shots to 3. John, I'll be with you alongside Alec. Not entertaining first period. I still want to get a replay of that puck that was loose off the backhand in front. We get a stoppage as Panarin loses the puck off the hit, but Keandre's there. Keandre's going to gain the zone. While dropping near the right and cut right to the net, it's Panarin. And we will get a whistle with 5:24.
I feel there's going to be a Ranger penalty in the midst of this. Artemi Panarin is not going to get the scoring chance his way. The Panthers are on the power play next. Miller, 2 minutes. But nonetheless, the Panthers almost got the first goal of the game with Sam Bennett breaking the left post on the backhand.
Man, that is what we had off the bounce there. And it looks like Keandre, as soon as he made that pass to the right side, he did a little too much. I didn't see it, to be honest with you. This one bounced a couple times for Bennett. Clang the right crossbar as we go to break. Sam Bennett could not be any closer.
But who knows if he's on the money on this power play as Miller goes off 2 for roughing.
That was against Vlad Tarasenko as well. So right in off the pass, he goes right to the net. I guess he got a little bit too much there against Tarasenko. And now, as Alec mentioned, we get an opportunity for Florida on the power play. So both teams will have one chance. Igor Shesterkin, 3 of 3. Sergei Bobrovsky been the busier of netminders, 7 of 7. Your team stats: hits 9-7 for Florida, faceoffs 9-4 for the Blue Shirts, block shots 7-4 for New York. I don't want to lead that category, but New York does 4-1.
I've been thinking as of late among the 4 teams remaining, who would receive the Stanley Cup first if either of these 4 teams were to win. We don't know who Dallas would be. Joe Pavelski.
Mm-hmm.
Florida, I don't either Sergei Bobrovsky or Kaiwa Poso.
I like that, Alec. Those are some good names. For the Rangers, do I want to go? Has Blake Wheeler ever won a Stanley Cup?
He never has.
Blake Wheeler, that'll be one of the ones I'll throw out there. And for Edmonton, I know you can go Adam Henrique or Corey Perry or some of the elder statesmen, but I'm going to steal the spotlight for the team. I give it right to McDavid, Draisaitl.
I'm going to go a different route with this one. Sam Gagner.
I like it. Again, I had to say it that way because you feel like the heavy lifting's got to be done. And McDavid and Draisaitl really start to percolate. Draisaitl is good. But Alex had the right response, definitely. Don't listen to me on that one. As Tkachuk will get this one back. It cleared the inboards. And now Reinhart started in his own end slowly, left, right, the Florida Panthers and the Road Whites, blue pants, red striping. As Reinhart will slip this one in. Rangers are in the blue with the red shorts and red striping. This is Tkachuk. Tkachuk now high slot. He'll continue to dangle, looking for a lane. It's Barkov, the captaincy, does everything. Reinhart, that was stopped by Shesterkin. Verhaeghe now near the right side dot. As Lindgren will successfully get this out. You can't tell me there isn't a game where Ryan Lindgren doesn't block a shot, your pain, and then comes right back out there on the next shift and he continues to do his job. He's an absolute warrior, just like Chris Tanev on the Stars. What a skate for Bennett. We'll set up Tkachuk now near the right side. Number 19 still waiting for a lane off the back skate. We'll lead now to number 9 in Bennett, and this one will be sent back down by again. Both teams look like they might kill this first penalty against them as the Panthers are on their first power play. Bennett now for Evan Rodriguez. He's got a ton of speed and skill. This one is cleared by Shesterkin. It bounced right to him, and the goaltender sends it the length of the. You gotta like that. They already like chanting Igor for good reason. As this is flying through, Ekman-Larsson straight down the gut. Lindell will drop it now for Rodriguez. Tarasenko playing the defensive spot right now for Lindell, who was in behind the cage and the behind the net strategy. Tarasenko in between the legs for it's Rodriguez right dot. Sam Bennett slows. Ekman-Larsson. Bennett fires. This is stopped by the right pad of Shesterkin. Lindell will watch this one be cleared down. OEL will glove it, but that kills the penalty. Both teams, it's still scoreless. 3:15 thereabouts left to go in the first as the towels wave at MSG. John Under with you alongside Alec Nava. 7 shots to 5 in favor of the Rangers. I think they've had the better period. A brutal giveaway. Starkin robs Stenlund.
Oh, that's beautiful. And you didn't need to beat yourself up over the McDavid and Draisaitl heavy lifting comment because they have done the heavy lifting for the Oilers for a long time. But we speak of heavy lifting. Shesterkin's doing a lot of heavy lifting for the Rangers right now. It goes right to Kevin Stanley, who was almost all alone at the front of the crease. Shesterkin sees his trickle past his 5-hole, and he snowmans his way, or snow angels his way, to go on his back to freeze this one up.
You said perfect awareness, Alec. It was a great call. He reaches behind him. He feels with the glove, falls on it. Here's another chance. We'll see if Florida can capitalize off a quick face-off. That wrister goes high for me to Lusterainen. Again, that third line can do some damage too, but Igor, another turnover by the Rangers right out in front. And Florida starting to force these things. They did it again. Now near the right dot. What are they going to do here? Short side chance. Solved by Shesterkin. You better be careful right now for your New York. They look like they're on a precipice to concede a goal. Here's a snapper. This goes in off the inboards. Bodies are flying everywhere. And now a break right off the rush. Sold by Bobrovsky. What is happening? It bounces out in front a couple times. And now the Panthers can't get it out. Seesaw here of dangerous chances. Miller. Here's a wrister. Saved by Bobrovsky. Take a breath.
What is happening here, John? We're seeing all sorts of looks for both the Panthers and the Rangers. One side is the Panthers, and when it looked like it was a tie between Forsling and Trocheck, Forsling can't get to it. Trocheck could as he tipped it away from his former team. Trocheck adjusted a forehand, tried to slide it, just ran out of leeway at the puck trigger line. Finally, it was a bouncing puck after the initial save, so he couldn't get to the rebound, and it was tie-ups right afterwards. But the Panthers, they're capitalizing off the Rangers' giveaways. They need to find it back in the net. The Rangers, you have to stop turning the puck over. Keep it clean.
Alec, we talked a lot about that in game 1, didn't we? In the sense of the Rangers couldn't get out of their own way. Now they almost concede. Miller takes a quick shot, saved by Bobrovsky. On that previous scary sequence, quite frankly, for the Rangers, Bobrovsky able to go ahead and save on the second one. He closed it just in time after that Trocheck pass because we could have had our goal.
It could have been going with Bennett or Stanley or Trocheck. We still remain scoreless because of the excellent play of both playoff Bob and Prince Igor.
Yeah, these are two of the best goalies that we got left. I know, just no disrespect to Jake Ottinger on this side. This is the goaltending match. This is the heavyweight matchup that everybody's been waiting for. Winner of Game 5 wins this series 79% of the time. I still think this is going to go 7 games, regardless of what happens. That pivotal swing to try to go up 3-2. If Florida can take it, then they can go right back on home ice where both teams have split. You don't really know which way this series is going to go just yet because when you had Game 1, again, I know a lot of us thought this might have been done. I was the only one holding the other way, but I'll tell you, I got the other series in the West completely wrong. This is bounced off the right side boards. Tkachuk. Now we'll push it the other way. Here's an opportunity. Bennett. He'll slow down. Wide open pass, Tkachuk. Good save, Shesterkin, as he got that with the left stick. You don't want to let Matthew Tkachuk with time and space to shoot. That was a pretty good shot there, but an even better save. As this goes in behind the end boards now, Trouba will slow it down. A very entertaining first period as this one goes back down for Lindell. He's not clear as this was a backhand attempt that was weak. This is now fought for. An opportunity now, Stenlund, and try to stick it ahead. Florida steals. They've done a lot of that. This back half of the first has been good for them. Here's a floating puck. It wasn't picked up clean there by the Rangers. They'll have it now with Trouba, but it's very contested near the right side boards. They're going to go back around the net here to start again. They'll go the long way because they have to. Florida's pressure has been all over them at the end of this first. There's Lindell. Lindell wrister, that was hot. Space as this is sent back down. picked up the left side line. Reinhart pinned. Offensive zone time 4:39 for New York. Lafreniere will take a breather behind his own end, send it down. So from the outstretch, Alec, before I send it to you in this intermission, it was a good start for pretty good. All of a sudden at the end, the Florida Panthers really turned up the heat in the kitchen. That was an even first period.
I will give you credit, John, for your announcing goals. Get any goals, you highlight some of the best saves in this game. This is the fourth time we are scoreless in a period in this series at MSG.
Mm-hmm.
But we've seen some spectacular saves in this first period. There's no telling on who's the better goaltender right now. We can certainly say Sergei Bobrovsky for this period, but all throughout everywhere else, Igor's been the better of the two.
I'm going to have kind of a stupid question, but let me try to phrase it in the right way that'll make sense. So we know that the better goaltender is probably going to win this series if Igor Shesterkin outplays Bobrovsky. But how good do you think Bobrovsky has to be to play Shesterkin? He's not going to have these 45 save type performances because New York Rangers don't get that many shots. But do you think if Bobrovsky maybe gets around 27 to 30 saves, that's enough?
It feels unsustainable for Bobrovsky to keep pace at a good goaltending pace to send the Panthers to the Stanley Cup final if the Panthers were to win this series. You remember about the all-around attack that the Panthers. So Bobrovsky's the type of guy that you can win with, and that you can have a good offensive attack and a sustainable defense right in front of you. You look back at the John Tortorella years. That's what made Bobrovsky into one of the best at the game.
Yeah.
Shesterkin, he has a good defense in front of him, but he has otherworldly numbers right in front of him. Bobrovsky, he can play good enough, and with his defensive structure in front of him, with him playing good enough, the Panthers perhaps win this series. Plus, you look back last year, the four-time marathon for Bobrovsky, which has cemented himself as a top goaltender.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly saying top 3, but a respectable pace, say top 10. Would that be good enough?
Yeah, it would. And I think it's it. I mean, we talked about a situation a couple of years ago with the Colorado Avalanche and Darcy Kemper, and I think that Sergei Bobrovsky is a couple levels above that. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I agree with that. Sergei Bobrovsky, he is, you can say, several. No shade to Kemper. He played all right for what he scored. He's been on and off at times from the series, but he won because of the team right in front of him. Bobrovsky is contributing to the all-around play Florida has in their redemption tour.
And that's right where we are. Again, that's the point that's trying to be made here from this first part of the intermission. Is if you're not going to say he's elite, he might just be a step below that. Igor Shesterkin's probably the best of the best. We'll see what happens with Jake Ottinger going forward in that series because Jake Ottinger, I think the other day, I think Dallas fell apart a little bit. I will say that watching it on the outstretch. But Jake Ottinger plenty of brilliant games. I do think Dallas needs to pick it up. I do want to transition to that series a little bit, but I will give you one more set of the team stats before we move over. So final shots at the end of one, 11-8 for New York. They lead in all categories, hits 11-10, faceoffs 11-6. Both teams did not score on the power play, but as Alec and I mentioned, this is the big key right now. Block shots are 10-5 for New York, but this is where they don't want to lead, and they did a lot of that. Again, when we checked in the middle of the first, they had 3 giveaways. They've already doubled that up with 6. That is way too many. So the Panthers, not even with OT outstanding if we get there, the Rangers are on pace for 18 giveaways. They will not win this game if they get to that number. Mark my words.
Yeah, if you become too careless with this puck, you're not going to win playoff games. You have to clean it up, as is said time and time again. Keep the game simple. I know you got a good look on the power play, but you may have passed a little too much and not got enough of shooting right on that man advantage. You did get some looks over the end of the first period, but outside that, the power play, you need to clean up your game. Keep it simple and don't try to go too fancy with it, unless if you want to risk it all. If you're one of the best of the best, if you're trying to go what Alexander Lafreniere did in Game 3 on his goal.
Alexei Lafreniere is turning into the player that we thought he did a bunch of times. I'm only going to transition to this basketball series quickly because I do want to talk about Dallas and Edmonton again and get your thoughts. But I do have to stop on this because I'm shocked. Right now, Luka's outscoring the entire Minnesota Timberwolves team. 132 left to go in the first. He's got 20 points in 10 minutes and is a plus 12.
That is outstanding work. We talk about the Michael Jordan comparisons for Anthony Edwards. Let's not forget about the Larry Bird comparisons with Luka Doncic. You know what else happened between Mike and Larry? Larry's Celtics consistently dominated Michael's Bulls. And it feels like we're seeing a repeat of that with Luka's Mavs and with Luka going out for 20 points in this first quarter. We're not even at the end of the first quarter already, and he's an efficient 8 for 11 in this game. On 11 minutes played as well. Kyrie Irving hasn't been his best thus far, but with the way Luka's playing, you'd wonder if he's going to keep this up. I wonder how many points Luka's going to score now. Say a 40-point night or a 50-point night might not be out of the equation.
I'm not saying it's going to happen, but the rough math tells you right now 20 points per quarter that Luka is on pace right now for 80. And that's a little scary here. So, as 40, as Alec mentioned, I'm going to buy that. I'll say he'll double up and get to 40. If Luka keeps this pace, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets.
You know, how about 40 and a win for Dallas? I'll bet that.
I think that's safe to say, Alec. He's cooking right now. That's what it looks like. Seemingly nobody else has scored right now. You got PJ Washington with 4. Again, we mentioned Irving 1 for 5. Daniel Gafford 1 out of 1. On the other side, Rudy Gobert's got 7, but he's a minus 12 on the floor. They like to pick on that matchup. Jaden McDaniels has a couple blocks. But Karl Anthony Towns, 4 points. He's quiet right now to a 5. They need him to step up. And I know the playoff rotations, they slow down a little bit as far as they get minimized. But for Chris Finch, he only runs 8 guys. You got Kyle Anderson, Naz Reid, and Nikhil Alexander Walker. And somebody has to step up right now. The only thing that's good news for the Timberwolves in comparison to the last game is they're not having to foul trouble right now, but they got to find a way to slow down Luka Doncic. But let me ask you this, as we're in the middle of our first intermission, and then I'll have you take the second. You can close out this game as well. But in the sense, I want to go back to Dallas and Edmonton because I gave my thoughts about Edmonton playing well, maybe being a little bit disappointed with Dallas. But I got to ask you now, Alec, as this series is tied 2-2, one, did you even expect that? And 2, picking the Oilers to go to the Cup Finals.
So first off, if I'm expecting a 2-2 series tie, I was not expecting the Oilers to answer back in the way they did with 5 unanswered goals. Well, from an article written by Greg Wyshynski, Game 4 was the perfect encapsulation of Oilers. Bad start, then roaring back to score 5 unanswered, and they controlled the play throughout, killing 2 power plays and scoring a shorthanded goal. Mind you, Edmonton has already killed off 25 straight penalties.
Unbelievable.
Stuart Skinner, he looked like he was about to fall apart, including but he made key saves, including his best one on Tyler Seguin in Game 4 to ensure that the Stars would not score away. But Edmonton, they turned things around. I feel it's realistic. They go to the Stanley Cup final. I'm not ready to say yet, however. They got to get there first before I can say with full confidence that I feel I can get them my selection for the Stanley Cup final. For the record, I think Dallas is still going to take it in 6 games, but I'm not going to count the Oilers out of this. Anything's possible now, and Chris Knobloch's team has to be at its highest confidence, especially Ryan McLeod. Scoreless in his first 14 playoff games this season. He's finally on the board of a goal. You put Corey Perry and the faster Philip Broberg, they have certainly made an impact in Game 4. You saw about Sam Carrick and Warren Fogle alongside Vinny Desharnais. Knobloch's pushing the right buttons.
Yes, he is. And again, I'm going to try to pressure Alec into a prediction here, even though he already gave me what he think is going to happen there, as long as Stars. And I agree. That's the first assessment that I'll take. I still think that they will win this series, but I've been humbled, honestly, and impressed. There's nothing wrong with that in the series, and you got it. Let me take this one step further, Alec. Whoever wins Game 5 between the Stars and the Oilers, if the Oilers win Game 5, do you still think that the Stars will come out ahead and win in 7?
If the Stars even up in Game 6 on the road after the Oilers win Game 5 at Dallas, I still think the Stars, they can win this as long as nothing bad happens around. And if you remember, going back to Game 7 of the first round between Dallas and Vegas, we already mentioned about Peter DeBoer's undefeated record in Game 7, 8-0. But I think the Oilers, they can test that in Game 7. Then again, anything can happen here in the playoffs. But Dallas, I know it's a broken record saying this, they have the better roster around. But the Oilers, I feel, as of right now, they're pushing the right buttons at the right times. Dallas, it wasn't really any pushback in Game 4.
No.
It's all the pressure on them in Game 5 to get said pushback around. Maybe another goal from Jason Robertson. You have to have more from the others, which they're doing. They have stepped up in the postseason. Why Johnson, Logan Stankoven has been a 1-2 punch on a young line. So Dallas, it's time. We don't know where the status is for Chris Tanev is for Game 5, but he was spotted at an airport on a walking boot.
That is what I was going to ask you as well. So again, clarification none needed on Alec's side because he gave you the expectations for the Dallas Stars no matter what. Again, that's where I would lean as well. But if they're up for Game 5, would you still take Dallas? The answer is yes. And I was going to ask you that about Chris Tanev because I heard that just before this game started about being in the walking boot. And I said, oh boy, because that is what Dallas wanted to be able to trade for alongside Jim Nill to shore up anything defensively. And you're already kind of in the situation when you're still without Yanni Hakanpää, now without Chris Tanev. And again, you to essentially, I don't know if this is the right word, but I'm going to use it anyway, hide Alexander Petrovich, kind of like how you do with Vincent Desharnais. How do you do that now, essentially? Can you finally go back to Nils Lundqvist? Do you feel like you have to if he's ready to go? Because you don't want to have, if you're going to have Petrovich kind of on a minutes restriction, you can't continue to put all that pairing because they're just going to be sucking wind all game.
Yeah, you can't 5 defensemen. You can only rely on 5 defensemen for so long. It's time that they get Nils Lundqvist back into the lineup. Saying right next to Kenneth's old place next to Esa Lindell. That's mostly a shutdown pair, but sometimes you have to have a defensive-minded defenseman next to an offensive-minded defenseman. Lundqvist functions as an offensive-minded defenseman. I feel that should be the spark if Dallas needs to get back into the series of Lundqvist, given the time that he needs. See if he is worth the trade in which Jim Nill made, in which Nill sent a first-round pick to New York.
I'm looking at the rest of the series as far as expanded goal scoring, and Jason Robertson's hat trick, that's going to change things and put him at 6. I still think they're going to need a little bit more because that was all essentially half his playoff goal scoring in one game. I'm looking at guys like Mason Marchment, who's got 2 and 4 points. That's not a ton, but a couple goals, you might want that. I mean, Logan Stankoven already has 3. I expect him to be. Sagan with 4 and 5, respectively. Miro Heiskanen with 6. I'd like to see him maybe get another goal, but that already is a lot to ask. What I'm essentially saying is when you got Matt Duchene and Rope Hintz with 2, and I know Rope Hintz has been injured, I think you need a little bit more on the other side. And again, I talked about Joe points and a -4. I know Pavelski's days are probably better behind him than they are right now. I still think the Stars need more from their offense. Again, they're going to have to correct their defense from that last Game 4, no doubt about that. But they're going to need more from their offense if they want. Just say one last thing here. For Jake Ottinger, his goals against is .220, save percentage is .917. He's not been the problem right now. So If they can get a little bit more offense, kind of clean up some of the defensive things and move on, I think Dallas will be okay. But they're going to need more goal scoring by committee.
Yeah, Game 4 was not Ottinger's fault. I thought the defense left him out in Iowa this game. He's one of the best goaltenders, and he did all that he was doing throughout the match. I mean, with Dallas getting the first 2 goals, it's weird how Darnell Nurse blocked the shot with his butt, and then went off Nurse's butt onto the other way. The butt giveth, the butt taketh. Nonetheless, it's weird how everything works.
And then also, when I should have texted you because I know you sent me the text after that, but on the Twitter side, and I look at it, I go, did this puck really get stopped by the goal?
It's unbelievable. We imagine about some of the biggest saves of the postseason this year. It's a remarkable save by Shesterkin, Bobrovsky in this series. Ottinger was lights out. But imagine saying that some of the best saves in playoffs. That was right at the goal line. It was loose, not with the goaltender. And by skater in the Carolina and the Rangers series in Game 6. We can say that Andre Stick and Martin, those were the saves in the playoffs.
I know we got about a minute and a half left, and then you're going to take the second. Again, we talked about some of the stuff in Carolina last time we hooked up in the broadcast. Saw Don Waddell is going to go to the Columbus Blue Jackets. They need some good fortune. I hope for their sake that it ends up working out because Columbus, I've mentioned it, they've struggled throughout their existence. Don Waddell's a good GM, and I think they can figure it out.
Yeah, they can figure it out. Eventually, it's going to come with Don Waddell. It's going to take time for Columbus to undo some of their mistakes. Some of the signings that were big free agent moves, which were very, very nice for them to keep Patrick Laine around, but these contracts for them, unfortunately, for signings that made sense at the time, nothing's really working out for Columbus. We had to build a culture around, get everyone back on the right track. You have Johnny Hockey and Patrick Laine being paid the big bucks for a reason. Johnny Hockey, of course, no one's a goal scorer, but he scored 12 goals this season. Not where you want to go when you sign a superstar forward at the time when he came over. And then he looks off at times.
Yeah, there's a lot still left to do in there. Hopefully they can figure it out at some point. So again, the Stanley Cup final is going to be the final start on the 6th. I might try to sneak in a game before we do the Stanley Cup preview show on the 7th and then go start the game 1. You take away this second period, Alec, it's been the battle of the goaltenders and maybe a battle of some of these turnovers. But you have both netminders on both sides have stood the test in the opening period.
The Rangers are trying to repeat what they did a decade ago and go back to the Stanley Cup final. Excellent goaltending play. The Panthers looking to pull it off by means of great offensive play. Second period is about to start. I'm Alec Nava. Alongside John Ott, you have the Rangers coming out onto the ice at their royal blue uniforms, going from left to right. You have the red sweatpants, the Panthers in their road whites. Sweatpants going from right to left. So normally, the Rangers, they go from left to right in the second overtime. That's the same thing for the Panthers at Amerant Bank Arena. They go at the opposite way, the configuration at UBS Arena in Long Island, that this puck goes out and plays 7 seconds deep in the second period.
Between these two teams as fans still filing into their seats. I know it takes a long time to get some drinks and nachos or whatever, but honestly, the way this first period has gone, if I'm a fan, I'm not even leaving my seat.
You know, that would be the same way to go about. I wonder if there is some buttons to bring concessions around the base up. Left point sent around. Miller intercepts that pass, breaks it away from Barkov, and Verhaeghe keeps. Barkov moves around, cycling it over to Reinhart, who gets bumped. That allows the Rangers to clear this one off a skate of a Panther. Verhaeghe tried to bring it back, almost baseball bat out. Schneider back for Miller. This Perry young 1-2 punch at the defensive side. Bouncing puck will be recollected by Verhaeghe. Verhaeghe takes a time hit and it takes a bounce. Barkov recollects. This puck loose in front. Zibanejad sweeps it away, and one of the Panthers got swept off the speed. We may have a penalty here.
We got a tripping penalty against the Blue Shirts, and the Florida Panthers go back to the power play. Looks like Keandre Miller is going to get his second of the game.
Two for tripping it is, as Miller is caught for tripping.
That is not what you want for Keandre Miller. Again, I highlighted him the first play. He just gets his stick out or skate out in front of Verhaeghe and just cooks him.
Yeah, that was an easy call to make for Miller as he's tripped up Verhaeghe on his skates. That puts the Panthers back on the power play. They're starting off with their second unit this time around because their first play was already used up in the opening shift. Rangers get a quick face-off when it's fired around by Lindgren. Bennett tried to keep it in but could not. In this series, the Panthers are 5-16 against our usually stout Rangers PK that likes to score here. The Rangers have 5. If I'm wrong on this, but the Panthers inside. Bennett around for OEL. Left side is Tarasenko. Watched by Trocheck. Back for Ekman-Larsson. OEL goes for Tarasenko. Fires one that's blocked. Bennett on the hole. Can't get this one through. Lindgren looks to keep clear. Bennett held it for a moment. Second attempt. And Trouba. Alexsander. Option fired around for the near boards. Bennett right there on time. Big hit by Sam Bennett as he Rodriguez dumps it out for Lindell. Rodriguez and a bounce off the stick of Fox. Tarasenko holds. Rodriguez looks to return on the other way. Zibanejad was in the way. And whenever he's out there shorthanded, he and Chris Kreider can really strike right on the twine. This is a combo that most other teams would not want to face when the Rangers are shorthanded. Matthew Tkachuk skates up with the help. He's going to wait for some help. That one's sticked away, and here comes the Rangers shorthand attack. Zibanejad up for Kreider. Here he comes, and there it is. Shorthanded magic. Yes, sir, indeed. Zibanejad sets up Kreider for the first goal of this game.
Well, what a call for you, Alec, in real time. You just laid it out for everybody listening on the play-by-play. What was going to happen between Zibanejad and Kreider and Tkachuk? Here's the thing for me, Alec. He made a great initial skate in the zone. Why not just take the shot? Why not try to kill some more time? Don't wait and force a turnover there. And Panarin, what a move to the left, right off the backhand for Kreider off of that chance, and it goes past Bobrovsky. But I think Tkachuk caught himself in no man's land and paid the price.
Yeah, he did. He tried to wait for too long, and when I mean too long, there were three Rangers around him. John, did I just predict the future in this one?
You sure did.
Oh my God. I owe Trunks from Dragon Ball Z $50 now. Here comes the Panthers play again. Verhaeghe cut up. The Rangers get this one down for the ice. That's a 6 short-handed goal for the Rangers in the playoffs. The most since 8 Detroit Red Wings. Barkov brings it up. Right side for Reinhart. 8 seconds on the power play. A double team. Here comes Trocheck on the return. One-on-one Montour. Is Verhaeghe. Drop pass. Trouba deals one. Bobrovsky with the save. He'll cover up as we get back to 5-on-5. But what a shorthand attack. Shorty of the playoffs.
Let me ask you this again, because I know it's half jokingly, but Florida Panthers were on a power play, correct? This is going to bring everybody to MSG up on their feet and waving the towels. My goodness.
Yes, it is. When you get the shorthanded goal, that energizes your team some more. Zibanejad and Kreider, we can talk about their attack on the power play with Zibanejad setting up Kreider. Even 5-on-5, they're impactful, but short most of their damage.
Yeah, as you said, with the 2008 Red Wings, that was a nasty backhanded goal. My goodness.
Spoken into existence on that one. Oh my goodness. Here's Fox, deals up for Panarin, sent away by Stanley, moved up for the ice for Hank. Anderson, Islander, and ex-Saber. Gustafsson turned it over, and Kerwin drag move turned aside by Shesterkin. Losterina got tied up. Gustafsson as well. Zibanejad on the poke, held inside by Stanley. Panarin poked it free. This goes for Zibanejad. Up across is Lafreniere. Lafreniere stick to the side. Panarin arrives with it. Lafreniere back to the place Fox. Fox delays. Up across this goes over to Schneider. Back down low, this goes around. Some ball line changes here made by Peter Laviolette. This goes over to Fox. Stack decided by Poso. Delay as his puck battle is down. Fox is getting crowded. And finally, we have a stoppage as Fox can't get up.
The penalty is going to be called. Panthers, they just had a power play. They conceded a shorthanded goal. And now Okposo going to go to the box for cleaning out Adam Fox.
It's 2 for, I don't know what the call is. Are they going to signal it boarding or are they going to signal it tripping?
I think that's a trip, Alec, on my first.
Yeah, first look, that's a trip. Clearly swept Fox's feet up. And the logic here is that Okposo's going for the puck. Instead, he sweeps Fox off his feet. And that sets the Rangers up on the power play. They're starting with their second unit this time. They're trying to delay for the first unit to come out.
If they score a goal here, I kind of wonder if Florida is in.
Here, they're 1 for 12 on the series, but this is a good chance for their second power play goal of this series as a whole. The Panthers have killed up 27 of the last 29. Barkov gets set. Almost got dispossessed. Decides to send this over to the near corner. Reinhart slowed down by Gustafsson, leads it up for Laviolette. Reinhart still going after it, 13 against 13. And a lucky number it is. Gustafsson loves to get this through a crossover to Rostovic. He drops back for Cato. 13 power play of this series for the Rangers. Lafreniere, center in front for Cato. He gets dispossessed. Panthers have it. Trying to counter here on a 3-on-2. Here's Kevin Stanley. Near side. Stanley on the slot. Rebound in front. Just dunk it. Oh, goodness. There will be a penalty. And everyone ganging up on Nico Mikola. Close to reading Rostovic involved. Cato also involved. Forsling also involved. This is going to take several minutes to sort out.
This looks like a WWE Royal Rumble after they ran into Shesterkin near the right side. Hopefully he's okay as he's across the post, making a ridiculous save. There was a mosh pit back there.
And the mosh pit it was indeed. Right behind Shesterkin, who got leveled after that. It was still in the initial shot that Nikola drove right onto Shesterkin's zone. Erik Gustafsson, we can confirm. Mikola will have to see.
Well, we'll say for Mikola here, he got gigged up on by 4 different Rangers there, so he certainly paid the price for what he just did to Shesterkin.
So what we do is, is Gustafsson 2 for roughing on Mikola, and Mikola.
And that's still going to go ahead and maybe give you some expanded ice. We'll see if we're just going to get a 5-on-4 for an offset here. But Mikola, man, oh man, he's getting punched in the back of the head after he got railroaded by 4 different players and behind the net. Yeah, that was a rough ride, but it was equal up there.
Oh, what a rough ride it is. Panarin looks to set up Zibanejad, can't do it. Panthers cleared down. We stay at the 5-on-4. It's offsetting liners between Gustafsson and Mikola. Zibanejad and Kreider finally have a point this series. And what a better time to do it short-handed, just the way they like it to be. Panarin across, Trocheck was offside on the entry.
Wow. Again, I'm glad that you talked about that stat and I saw that out there, because if I would have asked you that, I would have looked foolish. I wouldn't have expected that would have been their first point, and this series is 2-2. That certainly seems like Florida should be out ahead in this series right now.
Not since Chris Kreider scoring his natural hat-trick against the Hurricanes, in which he had scored when Reinhart's sign made that tribute to Gary Thorne on his call of the hat-trick goal. Can you believe it? Well, Rangers fans can believe it now. Panarin, across over to Kreider. Kreider going on over to Forsling, and he clears this one out. This play is stopped dead as Bobrovsky lost his mask.
Man, oh man, what a shot that was. It was a gigantic right dot. It looked like the Rangers could have certainly put that in, but Bobrovsky, he's going to have to be up to the test now. The Rangers are playing a really good game, and that wrist shot absolutely dislodged the latches as the goalie mask just flew off Bobrovsky's head.
It's the type of game the Rangers needed to play, and they are playing upside of what they are to the fullest potential. Bobrovsky, he's going to the bench, getting some repairs to his mask in the meantime, but so far it's so good for the Rangers here at this point in time with nearly 25 minutes gone.
I'm not going to sit here and say that the Rangers couldn't beat Dallas or Edmonton, but I think you and I thought whoever won this series between Florida and New York and goes to the Cup. Honestly, it's a shame that it's only a best of 7. I'd like to see these teams play more.
If we would see this series more games, we would love to see this go to more games, of course, because this series may be, if this goes the distance, perhaps which could beat out the Dallas-Vegas series or the Edmonton-Vancouver series.
Yeah, there's been a lot of good ones. We've been spoiled here in the Stanley Cup playoffs. We got a key offensive zone draw upcoming for the Rangers with Trocheck.
It was that box drop back from Panarin at the deep right point. Zibanejad, one-timer. This was trying to hold it. Panthers were all over him. That was a double lead. This goes back for Shesterkin at the trapezoid. Holding behind for Zibanejad. He set up Kreider on a shorty. This goes for Panarin. Panarin fires around in the Air Force. Picked up at the far corner by Kreider. Sent back around. And it's Trocheck. Box. Let's one go. Wild deflection by Panarin. Didn't make his way to the net. Cut away by Florida. And it'll go for a 2-on-1 day hurry. Close to arena delays. Fires outside of Fox. And this one out of play. It was off the leg. But this Rangers power play may likely run out. There's 4 seconds.
Interesting. I know it's only 1-0, but I'm having some flashbacks from covering Game 1, and it's interesting to see the Rangers looking like the team on the front Florida Panthers. It seemed like the Rangers couldn't do anything in Game 1, and now here in Game 5, the Rangers look like they're playing their best hockey.
Of the playoffs and the series as a whole. So 1 man at the box, that was Okposo. And moving inside for a quick shot. That did not make it all the way through. That was Wetberg firing. Panthers looked to get it out. Schneider's on the hole. At the near half boards. Pan towards the wall was one of the Rangers. Ekman-Larsson was there. Still ferocious puck battle of Kakko in the midst of it. Fired around over to Miller at the deep left wing. Miller on the keeper route. This goes past Kulikov. Rico away. Schneider was on the way to Tkachuk. Rostovich at the near corner. Goes across for Kakko. Kakko makes his way around. Maneuvers ways over for the far corner. Kakko around Kulikov. This cycle back over to Schneider. And there was some fans going for a penalty from the Rangers. Here's Kakko twirling around Kulikov again. Kakko look to Schneider. Schneider sent one over to Bobrovsky. Will make the catch. 47 seconds of zone time. And we can expect Gustafsson and Mika out in the box soon enough.
That was really good puck possession there for the Rangers. I understand for Gustafsson, he had to let that shot go because Tkachuk was in his face, but they're able to move it all around. They cannot show that Chris Kreider goal more than enough. That was absolutely ridiculous. As we go to break, 13:24 in the second. That's the only goal. We've had 6 penalties combined, 3 aside. It's 15-11 New York on shots, 14-12 hits for the Cats, 17-10 faceoffs for the Blue Shirts. As a short-handed goal, that's your tally now. And this game has been excellent. Chris Kreider, his 8th from Mika Zibanejad at 2:04 of the second.
And well timed for both Kreider and Zibanejad. We point out in the open they were without a point in this series. It's their first point for the both of them each in this series. Must feel good for them alongside Rangers faithful. They want to take this series to ride the backs of Igor Shesterkin. And with Kreider on the board, that's a feel good for Mr. New York, as one of my friends nicknamed him earlier in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's definitely a good one to have a nickname for. And again, I would also say this. I didn't expect to call this name, but Barclay Goodrow was activating Super Saiyan mode early in this series. Otherwise, this could also look different as well. He's been scoring like crazy.
3 goals in 2 games for good for the 4th liner and a second career playoff overtime goal. We didn't expect one from Goodrow in Game 2, but he has been lighting the lamp here, having himself a wing back in Games 2 and 3.
Him and Lafreniere, I mean, it's been pretty good secondary goal scoring here for the Rangers, and that's what can keep you afloat. That's what said the Dallas Stars and everything else as well as that series is 2-2. So again, next couple days, two series tied at 2-2. These pivotal swing games. I'm sure Alec might cover that one tomorrow. I'll be away with plans, but I'll jump back in on Saturday and Sunday, starting with this game 6. Once we figure that out, who wins, and then 6 in between the Stars and the Edmonton Oilers. You take it away.
Offensive zone face-off. The shot goes wide for Filipino. This game 4, he was scratched with a line in favor of Blake Wheeler. Kreider's the first Ranger, 8 points scored in. Ariskato looks over to the right side for Schneider. Schneider running near boards, slowed down by Bobrovsky, bursts to Ariskato at the far corner. Kreider looks to pass backwards, does so home for Miller. Miller across over to Schneider. Schneider holding it along. Around it for the near boards. Recollected by Florida as they look to clear and get the tying goal. Sasha Barkov was tied up. This is set up pass up to for Montour. On the right side for Reinhart. Reinhart going to cut his way to the front as Miller dispossesses a good stick in the way for the young blue liner. Zibanejad set up Kreider up front for the far half boards. Tap the backwards by the Rangers. Miller looks to get this one out, and he does. It goes all the way to Florida's and this is icing. Don't get a face up at the attacking zone. So we welcome Andrew into this.
Hey guys.
How's it going?
Tough one for your Griffins there last week.
I haven't been following them too much. What's been going on with them?
Lost a tough game 5 in Milwaukee. The crowd was awesome. It was awesome. Listen to them on 6:20 a.m. over here.
Oh, jeez.
And we're speaking of OG, Sam Bennett, one of the more physical guys for the Panthers. As we have a second straight icing against the Rangers, Bennett, he got lifted towards the boards, getting a taste of his own medicine.
Yeah, he's been doing a lot of the lifting in this. They're going to show some Game 3 stuff and behind the net now, as there's been some disgusting chances for goal scoring. We've already seen that now. Tkachuk, he's tried to go ahead and make a play, as we talked about, which led to the shorthanded Zibanejad there for Kreider. And what a backhanded move as the Rangers got the puck.
Up the way, bounced off of Bennett's helmet. Of all things, it bounced off of. Near corner, the Rangers dispossessed. Bennett's in the way. Rangers take it back. It's Zibanejad who got bodied up. This goes all the way back past box. Orico at his own blue line. Set up front, settled down. This will be for Benny Trocheck, who gets kicked away. Sam Bennett up with this now on the 4-on-3. Bennett up front for Gustav. With the 8 stars! Bar down and inside. Gustav Forsling ties it at 1.
Can I just say this again, Alec? Gustav Forsling, regardless of how much money he's going to make, is an absolute bargain. This is a defenseman streaking in off of that beautiful seam pass that he just barred down. Dick.
What a sweet beat that was for Bennett to find the seam pass. All the Rangers, they were caught on an island. They were trying to play guesswork to play. Gonna get who? There were 3 defenders back there on this 4-on-3. Fox tried to go on the far side. Didn't count for forcing up to the middle, and by the time Forsling was already too late.
I'm just not sure, because you profiled it, but how you let a defenseman beat you like that when you beat 3? Yes.
Yeah, my goodness indeed, when you point it out. So now we're back to where we started here. Got knotted up. It's that one explode, lifting this one to the far side. And the Rangers go back the other way. Coley to the opposite side for Goodrow. He gets tied up. Panthers look to take this one back. G. Tarasenko, Rempe. Goodrow caught the miss of it. Losterine is in. Losterine down the left side, goes out up front. Trouba stick that one aside. And we might have a holding the stick penalty against Jacob Trouba, in which it is the case with 10:56.
That was a serious amount of dancing, and Peter Laviolette's doing the same thing. Going to be going to the box there is Jacob Trouba, but you're starting to allow that bottom 6 line, Alec, to dance around all over you. You've already conceded 1. Again, I just mentioned whether or not if the Rangers and the power play would have scored if Florida was in danger. Well, I guess that narrative's gone and out the window. Now we'll see what happens with blue shirts.
Yeah, that's how Lundell got tied up with Trouba holding his stick to put the Panthers back on the power play. They've been the best power play team of the 4 remaining teams in the conference finals as a whole, but at the same time, they left 2 shorties when on the power play. And the first unit out there for this play sequence is the same unit to score the overtime winner in Game 4, Sam Reinhart on the 1 team. Gustafsson off this draw, banks this one off the boards, and comes back onto the ice. 5 seconds killed off. Jacob Trouba now up to 11 penalties this postseason, which leads the league. And the Panthers, they're trying to argue if there should be a possible delay of game.
I don't know if they're going to win that one, Alec, but I will jump back on Trouba and his 11 penalties. That's not really captaincy material to me. You got to clean that up.
It's just one of those times where I decision to have Trouba as the captain over Chris Kreider, John.
Yeah, I would certainly say Mr. New York there for Chris Kreider would deserve a nod.
And Bob Kreider, one could say that he should have been named captain after the 2021 season for his leadership of this team. Reinhart around. This goes past. At the right side is Tkachuk. Looks to set up. Round over to Barkov as Tkachuk sets up at the far corner. Montour for Barkov and now Tkachuk. Tkachuk over to Reinhart at the front of the net. Can't get anything to it. Tkachuk around. This goes over to Reinhart once again. Reinhart and Verhaeghe play some catch. Top left for Montour at the deep right point. Back for Barkov at the far corner. Reinhart, Tkachuk, back for Barkov. Reinhart one time gets blocked out and he gets shoved. Has to feel his helmet as he got that one pretty good. 1 minute killed off as Trocheck goes to the bench. Barkov re-enters with the puck. Back across this goes for Tkachuk. Gets bodied up by Kreider, and down this one goes all the way back to Bobrovsky's trapezoid. Some of the Rangers watching onwards. Backhands this one away just in time, away from the approaching Zibanejad. Ekman-Larsson sets up behind for Bennett. Sam Bennett, 1-2 X-plays on this roster. Bennett throws around, offside on the entrance. He was looking for Lundell.
I will say this, from what we're watching right now, Sam Bennett, you better be careful. Bottom 6, I know it's playoffs, it's his time. It looks like he's had a pretty good night so far, Mr. Nava.
He has. It's been quite the eventful night for Bennett. Even though he hasn't found a goal sheet, he has the primary assist to set up Forsling's goal, and it is a tie goal. Panthers still on this power play. Bennett leads the way in. Shot. This shorthanded duel of Kreider and Zibanejad on the shorthanded attack for the Rangers. A power kill, if you will. Lundell round over to the far side. Could not be controlled. The Rangers trying to rush for it. Shut off by Ekman-Larsson for a moment. Zibanejad picks it up across for Schneider. Schneider can't get Schneider round over to the far side, but a good penalty kill to end off. This power play for the Panthers. Trouba's back out. Bouncing puck. Ring going to by Trouba as he enters his way in. Trouba, a low front deep, kicked out by Bobrovsky. This goes to the far side. Ekman-Larsson got there first, but it's batted forward by Miller. Panthers can't touch up. Now Rangers touch up. This was played of a high stick. We'll have a stoppage of 8:39 in a second.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Every time you mention there between Kreider kill, they almost make something happen again, if not for the outstretched defense. A couple of the goals that we saw in this game so far, both are beauties. As we go to break, 8:39 left to go in the second. It's a 1-1 game between two teams that we really can't keep our eyes off of.
No, we can't. If you teams of the postseason outside of Dallas, Edmonton, I know they've upped their game in this postseason. There were still some questions about them, but they have answered every question in the playoffs, and they have the realistic opportunity to go to the Stanley Cup final. Western Conference final. I was giving it 6 games for the Oilers just to get bounced by the Stars, but the Oilers, they're in this at the fullest now.
I will say this, Alec was correct again as usual. I still think your number of 40 is going to be close. Doncic had a quick 20. He's got, but that doesn't matter as much right now as the Mavericks have a commanding 29-point lead on the Minnesota Timberwolves, 69-40.
Yeah, Luka outscored the entire Timberwolves team at one point in the first quarter, 69-40. You look at this. All right, let's check in with how. Oh my goodness!
I think
Kyrie Irving, he's come alive. He has 19.
Yeah, I think that's well said. That's the exact reaction that I have. Yep, 7-11 for Kyrie. As it looks like the Mavericks, they want to enjoy their long break that the Celtics got. Just an extra game for them. But it certainly feels after the first 24 minutes of action that we already have our winner. Timberwolves got a lot of work to do.
Shout out to them. Conference final and dethroning the reigning champions. He has some work to do in the offseason. What do you do around it? I feel like you can keep the defensive core around. I know it's to bash Rudy Gobert, but the defensive impact he has on the team is astronomical. Positive defensive rating when he's off the court in this series. That defensive impact is shown in all dimensions. That goes up to spiking up as one of the worst. Ouch.
Yeah, definitely. That's why you got all those draft picks to get them. You take it away, 8:30 left to go in the second. It's a 1-1 game.
Rushing back is Ryan Lindgren away from the approaching Anton Lundell. Back has this one out the center and recollected by Wedberg. At his first goal as a Ranger, that was the overtime winner. Biggest goal of his career. Sent inside. This was not touched by the Rangers. I see it is with 8-14.
So shots on goal are 16-12. I wouldn't quite say low event considering the type of game that we had so far. It's been breathtaking, honestly. And they need to stop showing this stuff with the Las Vegas Sphere because I want to get tickets.
Maybe some U2 tickets?
I'd like to go see that at the draft. That would be fun.
Yeah, of course. At the draft, refs U2 in attendance to make up for the Nashville Predators.
Yeah, that was.
Points that they had. This one goes out in front of Starkin under siege. This was still free. The Panthers trying to get to it. Starkin's stick is over at the near corner. He can't get to it right now. And as it is cleared out, Eagle had to start him again. So Shesterkin can't get to the stick. Lindgren at the far corner. Retrieves it. Right up this goes and out to center. Shesterkin have to wait some more to get his stick. Rodriguez says this one inside. This goes on to Shesterkin's loose stick. Lindgren pokes free. This goes down deep. It is Artemi setting up at the left side. Lafreniere. Here goes this one. Shesterkin can finally retrieve his stick. Panarin crossed over to Trocheck. Trocheck holds at the top left point. Panarin cycles the point. Now is Schneider. Bad shot. That one went wide and went behind the net. Panarin tried to take it away. Held inside. Lafreniere in the slot. Fires. And going wide. Recollected by the Panthers. Verhaeghe trying to get this one down for the ice. Nico sent it over for Reinhart. Reinhart delays. And Shesterkin finally with his stick. Got to set up. Got it down. Out. Tried to get a shot. Ran outside to do so. That puck played a high stick. But Shesterkin was so close to having that be a dang it.
I'm not sure, Alec, and I think you said it perfectly. If I'm the coaching staff or anyone else who's going to look at all those saves there and no whistle, then I want Igor Shesterkin making that pass. Wow, Igor Shesterkin the punch on Tkachuk.
Yeah, that's why Tkachuk is doing what Brad Marchand has done best with the Bruins, being an agitator. They say was playing a high stick, so this makes up will be outside the Rangers zone. But you have to stay your net sometimes. Don't risk yourself into being on the wrong end of a highlight. So this was sent to deep. Borowski. Goodrow on the hole in the near half boards. Stanley there as well. A bump up. Panthers get it out. Recollected at center ice by New York. It's Gustafsson. Trouba up for the far side. On the deflection. Gustafsson, Goodrow, and Okposo tie each other up. Canceling one another out. Loose stick on the ice. I don't know whose this is, but this one poked free and lands on his Stanley. Now on to Stephen Lawrence. That backwards for OEL. Leads the way at the near side. OEL a shot. Lifted up high. Out of play with 6:08 remaining.
Yeah, and I want to go back to that point before I jumped all over myself and you. When you get to that pass, you try to make that outlet quickly, and you see it bounce out of the air, bounce off a stick shaft, and almost a chance on the other end. You get a little nervous. As you said, you want to try to keep things clean. And showing earlier in the series some contact between Kreider and Tkachuk. This has been a lot of fun. 6:08 left to go. Are back out on the ice as well.
And that was the clip in which Chris Kreider threw Matthew Tkachuk's mouth guard in Game 4. As bizarre that was.
They love to do that. Again, he reminds me a little bit of Steph Curry does Tkachuk, and they have some gamesmanship. And I think one of Tkachuk's quotes was, "All game." I love that chirp.
Well, that's all Kreider needed to take that personal, don't you think?
Absolutely. When you give an inch, they'll take a mile. And you don't want to wake up these superstars because they'll make you pay like Kreider already did.
Of course. Yet another false start. Sam Bennett was already tossed out. Evan Rodriguez taking the place. Won by Rodriguez and help from Bennett. Tkachuk fires one off Shesterkin. Bennett on to keep it in the near corner. Tkachuk there. Poked forward by Cato. This goes bounce behind Shesterkin. Plays it over to the far side. Out inside by Kulikov in his second stint with the Panthers. Off for Tkachuk, who drove in. Gustafsson was in his face. Back for Kulikov. Long shot. And a big save. By Shesterkin, who hangs on. Zibanejad and Bennett in the mid-state. A skirmish or mini skirmish with 5:47. We get to a stoppage.
I want to make sure here, and again, I'm not trying to pick on Jacob Trouba because it didn't look like he did anything there. You already got a couple penalties. Same thing with Keandre Miller. You need those guys on the ice if you're Peter Laviolette. Stay out of danger here and just stick to the action on the ice. Avoid the extracurricular if you can.
Want to stay away from the extracurriculars as much as you can. They say, keep your head cool. Keep it to that level. Stay level-headed if you want to stay in games like these. You do not want to give the Panthers a power play because anytime they're going to score, remember they're the best power play team in the conference finals as of now.
Well, both just talked about it in the goaltending that we mentioned and who needs to be better or who's doing what. Right now, identical numbers for both Shesterkin and Bobrovsky. 16 of 17. And again, Shesterkin's save count probably went up by 2 or 3 after that skirmish we had of all those million backhands. They gave me PTX for the game we did in Game 2 between the Stars and Edmonton when Jake Oettinger seemingly couldn't get a whistle.
It goes that way. And Oettinger was getting crowded multiple times. No whistle and the puck was free several times. I don't know if the officials saw something. We didn't. But it felt like
Series was a little bit crazy. This one's getting crazy. Again, right now we got 7 penalties across the board. Florida with an extra piece of action on the power play. But again, that turned into disaster as they scored a shorthanded goal between Zibanejad and Kreider.
With Zibanejad and Kreider, that's a tic-tac-toe connection that is as good as ever. Between them shorthanded, and not to mention the response by Gustav Forsling, who roofed one on a nice feed by Sam Bennett as we come back in. 6 shorthanded goals by the Rangers this postseason. Every other team has combined 8 shorthanded goals.
I don't even understand how you get 6. That's insane.
And that's an otherworldly penalty kill. And the last team to have 6 shorthanded goals won the Stanley Cup. We're back. This went out of play, 5:41.
So again, 1 power play goal. Goals. How does that work? But that is what the Rangers are doing right now. You got the defensive line of Keandre Miller on the ice with Schneider.
12-11 of ice time for Miller. 4 hits and a blocked shot. A valueless defense for many reasons. So is Jacob Trouba with his hits and his blocked shots can bring it both ways. The aforementioned Miller round behind is Zibanejad. Miller goes down. To the right point, this goes to Schneider keeps. Back for Zibanejad from Gretzky Southwest. To the point. Border waiting. Man, that was tied up. That was Artemi Panarin. Gustav Forsling got him good. Now it's Zibanejad back the other direction. He flips it over to the near corner. Rushing deep is Panarin. He got there before Forsling there. Zibanejad around to the far side. Verhaeghe right there before Rossovic. Rossovic on the knee behind for Panarin. Down Forsling. Forsling still on it. Panarin trying to shake his man out. Set up for Schneider. A shot for the point. That was stopped by Bobrovsky. Zibanejad holds it for the near corner. Back around as goes for Panarin. At the left point. Back around again. Zibanejad from where Panarin once stood. Cycles around. Now to the right circle. Rossovic actually. Rossovic. Forsling as he clears this one down. His bouncing puck makes it all the way to Shesterkin. Oh, leave it over to his right for Lindgren. So a good aim for Forsling. They get the one down for the ice to Kakko. Fox jumps in around Losterinen. Kakko there joins the tie-up. Tarasenko also there. Wenberg also there. This one directed on goal. Over to the far side. Rushing is Trouba to keep this one in. Beat out on Poso. Trouba around. This is Kakko holding on to the puck in the near goal times as we near 40 seconds of zone time by the Rangers. Wenberg, now he's trying to front. This one up high. Kakko trying to hold it. This one helping by Trouba. Deep shot. Now stop the glove. This goes over to Mika. For the far side. Losterinen. Looks to clear. And a shove right on one of the Rangers. Trouba have it again. Looks to lead the blue shirts. A quick shot. Now stop a stick. That was Nicholas. This goes out of play. 3:21 to go. And a shoving match between Lafreniere and Montour.
And I know Mika was in the mix as well, but Trouba trying to bait him into another penalty. Trouba that time walked away. That is exactly. You can't take any needless penalties there, but there was a lot of physicality that we just saw in that last previous sequence there. Mika all the way near the left board, just trying to pry this puck loose. This Barclay Goodrow with his extra pass, and then that shot just missed the top right of the bar.
That's on their last shot, top right corner, like they scored one of their shots. Lafreniere is a spot-up shooter at the top of the right circle. Should Vinny Trocheck win this against Sam Bennett? Now they switch him out for Artemi Panarin. Gustafsson at the right wing. It's Bennett preventing that from happening. Capped in by Gustafsson, who is pinned along the near half boards. Panthers can't clear, but rushing to his Kulikov to ensure that. Reinhart leading the way over to Sam Bennett, who's away. Now a push and shove. Rodriguez went down. Gustafsson picks this one up over the near corner of his own zone. 3 minutes to go in the period. Bouncing puck being caught by the Rangers. No 2-on-1. Panarin with Lafreniere there. Bouncing puck over to the left point. This bounces out the zone. Gustafsson looked to lead up, turns it over. And the Panthers can't much out of it, but they direct this on to Shesterkin. Throw a shot hard towards the wall by Rodriguez. Who's pushing inside. Tkachuk kept it in. Near corner for Rodriguez. Tied him at the near corner. Tkachuk trying to fight free and does. Gustafsson behind the net. Away from Stanley. This bounces over. Panarin trying to clear. Can't do it. Stanley also tied him. He's running out this puck. Bouncing out the center. Or just kept in by Gustav for a split second before it's cleared out by the blue shirts. Shot advantage now for the Panthers, 2017. 4 feet in. But the left circle center in front one. Oh no! Loose puck in front. The Rangers have it. And it gets this one out. Center for Zibanejad. He decides to send this one inside for Bobrovsky. Who picks it apart over to the near side. Panthers clear. And this one forced out. Is this going to be the way of game or is this deflected? We don't know just yet.
I think it might be deflected according to the referee. What I am going to say here, though, is that previous is able to end the zone. You got a chance with Okposo right to the net. First one, this gets stick to side, and then Okposo goes for the back pass. I would have liked to see him pick that one right back up, Alec, and just fire right at Shesterkin.
So Okposo hit. It was a forward of steam approaching the low Shesterkin's face. Good to Corona went on the way. Mokoi's out there on the ice with Zibanejad. Verhaeghe flips it down. Great collected by Miller. That is for Schneider. And this one, the front inside, the icing tossed out. Montour arrives here simultaneously with one Ranger. Koei trying to keep this one inside. Schneider on the hold. Panthers trying to work this one out. This goes for Zibanejad at the right side of the trapezoid. Oppositely, a shot bounced out of a skate from Panthers clear it out. As Schneider recollecting his own blue line. Back pass up for the near side of the boards. It goes for Bobrovsky. Oh, wait a minute. Up for Verhaeghe. Verhaeghe on the long flip. Down for the ice. Glove down. Down for Florida. Verhaeghe again. Shesterkin keeps it on the backhand behind the trapezoid. Directs this onto traffic for Kakko. Kakko leads the way. Up for the ice. Bobrovsky looking to place it out. Kulikov jumped on the front. 1:05 to go. Fox looked to hold. His spins around for Rozovic. Bouncing puck over to the near corner of a minute left. Ekman-Larsson looks to clear. Rangers just this bounced over to Losterinen. Losterinen sends it down the ice. Lundell starting pass it front for Tarasenko. Can't get one against his former team. Adam Fox leads the way for the near side. Fires around with the force on the bank. Aaron Ekman left it behind for Tarasenko, who's tied up. Now on front. This is Lundell. Lost control by Fox. Moved up for the near side of the ice. Lafreniere on the foot race. He goes down. scored the game-breaking goal. This one sent in. Ekman will run out the rest of the squad, and that's what he's going to do. We had an eventful first 2 periods of play here in Game 5 of the Eastern Conference Final. We're tied 1 apiece. Chris Kreider shorthanded. Gustav Forsling on the 4-on-3 bank pass with Sam Bennett. 1-1 after 2.
The same refrain that I said after 1, and trust me, that's a good thing. When I asked you which team had the advantage, I think both of us were concise in saying, yeah, it was pretty even. Now you had a back-breaking, short-handed goal against the Florida Panthers, but then you get a response for Gustav Forsling from Sam Bennett with an absolute ridiculous roof job off hand. It's now 1-1 after 40. The penalties are about dead even. The shots are about dead even as well. Honestly, we're going to go to OT again.
You're confident about it for a 4th straight game?
I feel like it's going to happen, Alec. After the first 40 minutes here, I can't tell who the better team is.
We can't tell who the better team is about. I know the Panthers, they have the advantage and the shots for most of this postseason, but this is a Rangers team that's built on overcoming adversity, and it's built on that momentum in the same way that the team has had. 7-0 in the postseason to start off, and you were heavily outshot in the second round, heavily outshot here in the conference final, but you build off of said adversity, and you keep winning and overcoming that adversity.
Yeah, I think it's well said, because when you look across there alongside Chris Drury, you have a bunch of bottom 6 guys that you brought in, and they're all scoring. Lafreniere, you wanted him to percolate a little bit since drafting him a few years ago. He's looked good. You've had Barclay-Goodrow. He's looked good. Some of your stars now are starting to play better as this series has gone along. And Igor Shesterkin has been other certain games you look at and say, well, he gave up 4 goals here and there. You're going to give up goals when you're facing as many shots against as he is against the Florida Panthers. I think he's been nothing short of brilliant. Bobrovsky's been pretty good on that side too. And the Panthers have been offense for the most part in this series and look really good as well. So I am excited for what we're going to see in the third. I'll take the top and you take the bottom portion and close it out. If we go to OT, we'll figure that out as we go along. I might start to close the OT and then move it across. But might be headed. On the YouTube side, I asked, who do you think has been the better team through the first 4 games of this series? Only a couple votes. I know it's a difficult question, but everybody's leaning with the Panthers so far. I wouldn't disagree, but to Alec's point, it was a beautiful one that he just made, fighting through adversity. That's what the Rangers are doing right now, and they've looked good.
Yeah, I want to point out what the court the Rangers had. Would it be Panarin, Kreider, Zibanejad, Fox? You point out Barclay-Goodrow to a nice extent, Keandre Miller to add on. You add on Braden Schneider to this list. Let me point out one thing. Schneider was the guy the Rangers selected with the pick that they acquired from the Brady Shea trade.
It's not a bad one, Alec. I mean, he's been good in his time that he's been there. He's a top 4 D man for sure, and I like his game.
They want to go for a rebuilding plan for the Rangers, and in trading away Shea, it's the big risk in dealing him to the Hurricanes, but it's worked out for both sides in getting Schneider, who is a defensive defenseman and well-rounded as well.
I know we talked about Trouba earlier, and this is probably a little bit of a statement on my part, but if you give the captaincy to a defenseman, who's to say you don't do it again? Once Trouba's done, who does it go to? Maybe Keandre Miller, if you want to go that route, because it feels like he could be a Rangers lifer.
It could be.
I feel like he's a pretty good pick on the defensive side. For the Mavericks and the Timberwolves, 10:37 left in the third. That is back underway again. Dallas's lead has ballooned up to 75-42. So I think I dodged a bullet in not calling that game. I had some between the Monday-Tuesday side. Although I did not expect this type of score line, but I guess the Mavs are taking care of business today.
They're standing on it. They want to go to the finals for the third time in franchise history to take out the top team in the NBA. Tall task of Luka, Kyrie, and everyone around in the supporting cast. I feel it's possible. I know they cooled off late last season, but but someone said, just wait until they all mesh together. This will be a dangerous core. And boy, did they wait along. And they were patient. They kept Kyrie in the offseason. That has worked out one. Already at the one skin of how LeBron it was when he found out Kyrie Irving was going to the Mavericks. Well, I know LeBron was the first one to the conference final. The Kyrie trade to Dallas. Now it's Kyrie going to the conference final and potentially another NBA final, his fourth. With Luka, Kyrie's realized he's a number 2 option, and over time, it takes maturity for these star players to realize, and some of them, that when they try a number 1 option, it doesn't work out. They realize they're a number 2 option. They sell for the number 2 option. That was the case for Kyrie in Brooklyn. And now in Dallas, he sold it to the number 2 nicely behind Luka.
Exactly spot on, and that's my thoughts as well. Again, I can talk about some of the other stuff with Kyrie. I won't do so today. Not my favorite player. However, you said that correctly. That's exactly what you need to do, and it's about business. And if you're happy where you are, you're going to be able to get the job done a little bit easier, and him and Luka Doncic have been excellent. I will also give full marks to Nico Harrison on PJ Washington. Guys like Daniel Gafford be able to draft Derek Lively as well. I think those pieces have blended in beautifully, and this is a really good Mavericks team. I know we're a little over a week away from the NBA Finals start, but assume it has kind of been written in stone in between Boston and the Dallas Mavericks. And I just wonder, because again, this is a little bit of petty, but when you go back to TD Garden for games 1 and 2, I also am not going to be mad at the fans if they boo a little bit. I hope they keep it clean, but I got to imagine Kyrie Irving's reception in Boston is not going to be sunshine and rainbows.
Yeah, I would not expect that too. They're going to boo him every time he touches the ball. It kind of feels like Philadelphia whenever Sidney Crosby touches the puck, or when Patrick Kane touches the puck. No matter how it goes, it's just a whole bunch of booing towards a player that either is the best player on the other team or someone who you think has backstabbed you. Just remember, Kyrie, he briefly said he wanted to be with the Celtics for a longer time, and then changed his. As he realized he realized to himself he's not number 1. Not my favorite player either, but he did what he had to do in Dallas.
I agree. That's well said, and that's where I'll leave it as well. But I do want to take one step further in this. Again, we've talked a lot about this hockey series. Forward to the third, we've already mentioned Dallas and Edmonton. I want to take Dallas and the Boston Celtics and the limelight in the second intermission. When you think about that matchup on Thursday, I could make arguments for both NBA final. Couldn't you, Alec? I think this should be.
It should be. I know if there's any team that can take Boston through the distance, I think Dallas is well equipped to do so.
Between Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic is going to have to match up in between Jaylen and Jason Tatum. That is going to be so much fun to watch. My only other question is this. Is PJ Washington, Daniel Jones, and Daniel Gafford, or Derek Jones Jr., and Daniel Gafford are Drew Holiday, and some of the other pieces, because I think the bench pieces are going to play a pivotal factor in this series. And I think if I have to give an edge, that's where Boston has the edge to me, because Drew Holiday, I think he's probably going to get most of the matchup there with Luka Doncic, unless you want to go with Jaylen Brown or even Jason Tatum, because Doncic can back down everybody. But that's where Drew Holiday becomes so much more important, doesn't he?
That's where it becomes a lot more important for his defense. And that's not mentioning one player in particular, as he left one stops for Zay matchup. But also with the depth pieces in Horford, Holiday, all around Peyton Pritchard, to name another, and even Singer Tillman getting some minutes. You saw O'Shea Brissett getting some minutes. Sam Hauser, too. He creates some meaningful minutes off the bench for the Celtics. Celtics depth is getting some meaningful playing time up and throughout this Eastern Conference run. No, I'm not calling it the easiest path to the finals.
I'm not either.
Because revisionist history is one hell of a drug here for some people to call it. Let's keep it at that. The Celtics lost the East. The 2017 Warriors won their first 15 playoff games before winning the championship in their 17th. This is by no means an easier match, an easier path than the 2017 Warriors, but it's a quote-unquote easy path, but I'm not calling it the easiest path because the 2017 Warriors had it easier because, let's remember, about the 15 straight wins to begin with, plus the Kawhi injury in the Western Conference Final.
And again, I want to say this too, because you can talk about some of the injuries and the wins, and yeah, the Celtics make it look easy because they've won, they've been the number one seed, and they've played well. I look at and I think that the Pacers could have won a couple of those games, probably should have won a couple of those games darn well against the Celtics. They just ran out of gas when it got into crunch time. That's when the Celtics turned it on, kind of closed them out in the fourth. And I think it also helped me answer another question about the Boston Celtics. They were wondering, where was the ball going to go when it gets done at crunch time between Brown and Tatum? Are they going to be able to get it done? Are they going to look good? Well, yeah, they've already had 3 of those games in the series in which it was coming down to the end and Boston closed it out. You're going to have those type of games and type of wins in the NBA Finals against the Mavericks if you should win it all.
It feels like so far they've answered our doubts about if they can be crunch time. They're able to pull off some come-from-behind victories. So who is the ball going to go to when it matters the most? Sometimes it's Jaylen Brown. Other times it's Jason Tatum. I say both times they have their fair share of clutch moments. Jason Tatum's 10 overtime points in game 1. He had Jaylen Brown before that hitting the tying free to send to overtime. Tatum was a big shot in game 3. Drew Holiday with a big time steal. And then we have some more clutch moments. I say they've been some of the best players that we have ever seen.
Yeah, they have. I've loved that duo. I'm glad that everybody got paid. And between Tatum and Brown, I'm glad that nobody listened to naysayers alongside Brad Stevens and anyone else to keep them together, Alec. That would have been a colossal mistake, I think, to trade one of them.
You keep moving them around. It's a good job by Brad Stevens to pay Jaylen Brown up to what he is one of the richest contracts, if not the richest, in NBA history at this point. I know for a fact that more superstars are going to be paid a lot more money. Supermax extensions due for all of Luka Doncic, Joel Embiid, and eventually, come 2025, Nikola Jokic.
Yeah, and they're all going to be worth the money, and anyone else to argue doesn't need to be talking about basketball.
And they're all worth their money. Who knows if Jokic could be paid? Him being paid up to $80 million a year.
I mean, he's already won 3 MVPs. He's got an NBA title. He's pretty much one of the best players in the entire world, if not the best. So, no argument from me. He is the Denver Nuggets.
I mean, whether it be with him hoping on the scoring on the all-around game,
Yeah.
with him enjoying his life horse riding, he does enjoy. And he's enjoying his time in Denver and with the horse riding.
Yeah, that is one of his loves. And then, as you mentioned, Luka Doncic, I mean, some of his numbers as well have been otherworldly. It's amazing to me how many years ago it was now with Luka Doncic that he had about 6 different teams with an opportunity to draft him. And then, oh, by the way, we didn't expect the Mavericks to bounce up, and then they go ahead and take him anyway. If you're the Hawks or anybody else, I know you got Trae Young, but if you're the Kings or anyone else, how did you pass up on Luka Doncic?
Well, I know they wanted a big man in Marvin Bagley, and that they wanted to build around De'Aaron Fox, but you don't pass up a great talent in Luka Doncic on most days. For the Suns, I feel it kind of makes sense for them that they were in need of a big man with DeAndre Ayton.
Sure.
Thing is, Ayton's been nice at the beginning, but it wasn't falling apart at the end of it between both parties, between Ayton and the Suns as a whole.
Yeah, that's probably the case. And on the side for Marvin Bagley now, I saw him a long time as a Piston, as the second pick. Sometimes it doesn't work out. I mean, Milicic on the side when you had Carmelo Anthony, Chris Bosh, and Dwayne Wade. So I certainly know what that pain is like. It happens, but when you miss on generational type players and you don't get them, that's what really hurts you, because there are great players in the NBA. There's a lot of them, but there's very few generational players. And players like every 10 years.
Yeah, that's true. Once every 10 years, once you have a generational talent like Luka, like LeBron James,
Yep.
And you speak of them, Victor Wembanyama, we can name as another one, just this past year.
So Victor Wembanyama, pretty much so great. He's already got like Defensive Player of the Year honors on that side as well, with all the blocks and his ridiculous size. And oh, by the way, he's going to get so much better than he already is right now. So if you're the San Antonio Spurs, Alec, I guess I'm a little bit jealous because you go from David Robinson to Tim Duncan, and now you get Victor Wembanyama. Already had that core of Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili. That just makes me sad if I'm not a Pistons fan, but it hurts my heart because they're always good, and I feel like they're going to be good again.
Yeah, if that makes sense for Wemby, that you have a foundation built on centers around David Robinson. I was so jealous of how the Spurs have been so successful. Now you get to build around Wemby. There's some talks about who is going to be moved around. They say Keldon Johnson may be a strong contender to be moved. So you go to around Wembanyama, keep Devin Vassell up and about. Jeremy Sohan, you keep them at a forward position. A guard. Say who could possibly be brought into by San Antonio if they were to bring in a guard here with free agency or at the draft. But that may be the biggest priority, guard.
I agree. You want someone else to run the show. Again, Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili were so good that Duncan days. You kind of get spoiled in the sense of when you don't have one. Hell, I've been waiting for a starting guard since Chauncey Billups on the Pistons side. I'd love to get a great point guard. Got a lot of scorers in the league, but not a lot of masterminds like Chris Paul and guys like that. Looks like Tyrese Halliburton is pretty good on that side for the Pacers. So once they get him back, I'll take this opening 10 minutes when we get started. I'll have you close it out. If we go to OT, I'll have you start, and then I'll close into that. Is Stanley Cup Finals going to begin June 8th? We're still wondering what are the two teams going to be, because both of these series entering today are tied at 2-2. I think Alec and I are still leaning with the Rangers probably to win it, and then Dallas to go ahead and take it on the other side. But is right there. And who knows, this game 5, the swing game that we talked about, that goes to 3-2. We talked about teams that get a chance to win the series. This is a big game tonight.
It is for both teams. The Rangers, and turning around the momentum to favor the Panthers to reestablish, check around, and carry over from game 4 onwards to put full force on the Rangers. The third period, this could be. The Rangers have to hold firm with Igor lead the way.
Look at ozone time, 34 minutes in games 3 and 4. Not as much tonight. The Rangers have played a pretty good game. Again, we're watching this on ESPN alongside Sean McDonough with you, alongside Alec Nava on the Twitter X space and on the YouTube side, probably streaming on Twitch as well on Alec's side. We'll take you through this third. We'll take you through the rest of the game, no matter how long it goes. This might be another OT. That's what I called earlier. That's what it feels like, as the Florida Panthers will send this one in from right to left. An opportunity now for Verhaeghe. We'll get this off the forehand and send it down deep off the shovel. It's Barkov. Barkov very strong, able to keep this along one-handed. Half spin again. Work his way on the backhand just to buy space. Great setup for Verhaeghe before it hits Shesterkin with the right pad as this one goes back down the ice to Barkov. So they can take some changes if they want. Ekblad will provide support. Barkov's going to get off the ice. 17 blocks to 11 in favor of the Blue Shirts. It's a 1-1 game. As this one now picked up by Shesterkin. Trouba slowly behind the end boards as New York trying to make a play in transition. Here's an opportunity off the backhand. This will ride all the way to the offensive end, back in behind Bobrovsky's net. And now Tkachuk He's got the puck. Upside red line. As they'll try to find the entry. Stay on the drop. Here is Montour. We'll just shovel it in deep. Back around side for Evan Rodriguez. Here's Bennett. Bennett now. We'll get his pass across. It'll bounce off his stick and go to Montour. This will turn around and funnel it in. And New York try to find it now off the back skate. Florida a couple of times. As this will be loose out in front. It's picked up between the legs. And Bobrovsky robs Lindell. As Lafreniere will send this around. Picked up off the backhand. It's stolen, and now Florida will find it with the road white jerseys. Left side wing. A chance off the rush. Gigantic rebound given up by Shesterkin, but the Breadman's got it. Here's a nice little shovel pass. Able to push it ahead. Here's Trocheck from an angle, and this will fall back to Lindgren. I think it almost hit OEL in the face. He had to duck out of the slot. Good sacrificial block. Now Panarin near the right dot, but New York can't hold it in as it goes back to Laugh. They'll send it back around now for Lindgren, and they'll start again. This has been some action back and forth. I haven't had a lot of goal calls. I haven't had any. Alex only had 2, but we got a lot of action here since I've taken over on the play-by-play side for the first 10, and I'll drop back to Alec Nava as it's Miller. Plus 36 in the third period, plus 12 in the playoffs, both first. And goal differential for Florida. They love the third period. As this is Miller, long shot up high, and an opportunity now for Kyle Okposo. We'll push the other way. Okposo now. Find it. What a move. He'll get it toward the left side pad of Shesterkin. This will go D to D. Slapper. This bounces toward the right side. The Rangers try to find it in between some skates and blades. Florida, again, all over this puck. As they'll pick it up now for Steven Lorentz. We'll send it around. As this is picked off, sent back around slowly from Schneider. And we'll get an opportunity for Keandre Miller. Fans are pounding the glasses. They back and forth action to start this third. It's been an excellent game. Still 1-1. Find the entry. This is canceled off to the neutral zone. Race for the puck. Now to the right side dot. Here is Florida off the steal again. And an opportunity for Barkov and Reinhart, but they can't make it happen. Verhaeghe sends it in deep, goes out of play.
Yes, so much happened here in the opening 8 minutes of this third period. You look at the replays of what happened early. Anton Lindell doing a fancy move between his legs. I know Alexander Barkov had a fake between the leg Eastern Conference final. Lindell between the legs move. Shesterkin wasn't fooled. Tarasenko left a wide open rebound right in front that was tied up by Ryan Lindgren. And Lindgren back with the puck, and he was a little bit snake bit by it.
Yeah, and again, he's on the bottom side of a block. That's what you want him to do. And toward the net, played off the Kieran from Kulikov. Set out Kulikov! That doesn't go! My, oh my, what a pass in behind the net. So it's still 1-1. As this is an opportunity now off the finish of a hit for Trouba from Bennett. Bennett's been all over it this game. And now here for Kulikov. Kulikov pass. Rodriguez off the touch. Lead for Bennett. He shoots the wrister. Glove save. Shesterkin.
Before, I'll emphasize it once more. The Panthers, they love the third period. They had the biggest goal differential in the regular season and the playoffs. In the third period, plus 36 and plus 12, Kulikov had a good look. Might have bounced off Shesterkin and kissed the post, the left side of it. The second time that we've seen this shot from the Panthers graze the left post.
That was such a good pass from Tkachuk to Kulikov, as you pointed out. The shots on goal now are 27-18. Florida has hit a bombastic third period. 7th post hit this series. Lucky or unlucky, you be the guess and answer of that. Face off. Won by the Panthers. Stanley trying to power. That's Tarasenko, excuse me. His face kissed the post. That one had to hurt. As Lafreniere back around. He absorbs a couple contact there with Mika. As this bounces away from the referee. Florida able to push. It's a 3-on-3. This is sent in. Luosterainen will play the bounce. Off the boards. Luosterainen now one-handed gets dispossessed. Finishes his hit. Florida steals again. Liddell! What a pass! Oh, and an even better save against Luosterainen by Shesterkin. This is a ridiculous game. Panarin now between his legs. Dispossessed. Good work there by the Panthers. But Igor Shesterkin answers the bell time and time again. You can't be surprised with that, as this is now for Forsling. Forsling now for Lorentz, as Hedl will absorb a hit. This is in between the boards. This will bounce back to the right side. Rangers. It's turned over again, and this is not kept in. Ekblad have to wait for everybody else to get back on side, and Shesterkin will slowly play this puck to K'Andre Miller. The turnovers keep happening every time on the play-by-play side for the Rangers, and you can't have that continue. Shesterkin keeps making longer. K'Andre Miller now for Cooley. Right side dot. This wrister goes way high off the glass. It will put the Panthers right in off the rush. Verhaeghe gets taken down, tackled, no call. And now Miller goes back and has to absorb a couple hits. Barkov, player's bench, he gets hard to take him off the puck. He gets back up. Now blue shirts find it. There's the profile of Mika Zibanejad. This one now for Mikala. Sidesteps a huge hit. Florida try to get out of their own end. Here's an opportunity. Reinhart will just make the smart play. Shesterkin way out of his goal crease to stop it with the left pad. And now Schneider will send it around the end boards. As this is Zibanejad touch pass. Did they? Wow, what a pass! As this goes back and behind it, what a ridiculous hit! And behind the boards, that's a trip.
Why are you doing this, Florida? You have all sorts of momentum right in front of you, even with Angel Luosterainen copying up what Anton Lundell did previously, and then you shoot yourselves in the foot by taking an undisciplined, uncalled for penalty. I guess Mikla tried to block off a passing lane, but come on. Kakali was skating full steam ahead. I feel Kakali was skating too much. I don't know what Mika was playing. He tried to get back up, but it was dying up. But either way, you can't keep putting yourselves in positions like this.
No, and again, I liked what you said earlier before we got into all of that, in the sense of how well they were playing, and then you go ahead on the other end and take a penalty. Florida. Shesterkin. And for as good as Shesterkin is, I mean, he wasn't close to conceding a goal, but it certainly looked like there was some pressure between Tkachuk and Kulikov, and then the crazy between plays that we already saw two of them. Shesterkin, 28 of 29. He's been a brick wall once again for a 966. And now Sergei Bobrovsky has been pretty good, 17 of 18. But one more time, again, as a profile throughout the series, time and time again, even though I only covered game one, Shesterkin has been the man. Continues to play big, because now we'll have to see if Bobrovsky can do the same. 29 to 18 on the shot board for Florida. 27-22 hits for the Blue Shirts. 26-19 are the face-offs. But the penalties are starting to ramp up 4 aside for both teams.
You mentioned about Shesterkin being the man. 28 of 29 in this game. He has been the man in this series. I know Game 3 was sort of a one-off. Game 4, he was spectacular despite the loss and the 37th save effort. I know this is going to be another one of those Shesterkin-type games in which he leads the way for the Rangers if they win this one. So I feel this is a good time for the Rangers to strike now on the power play.
Yeah, because you never know how many more of these you're going to get. And even though I said this might go to OT, this could certainly change the whole thing. Time leading this series, 50 for the Panthers, about 59 minutes for the Rangers. Time tied, 190 minutes tied pretty much. This has been an even series. Again, as you mentioned, the game one that we covered was the outlier. Nothing but OT since then. Rangers power play 1 for 13 in this series. They need a critical goal one more time. And then I'll get set up for this power play to hand it back over to Alec Nava. We'll take you through the rest of the third, and we'll figure out the OT side of it. As this one is sent back down, 30 of the last 32. Again, we talk about the Edmonton Oilers penalty kill. Well, the Panthers penalty kill has been pretty good against the Rangers team that usually dominates in the power play. It's Kreider. Now Zibanejad. Fox. Panarin. Kreider. This one gets deflected back to the bread man. Panarin. Wrister touch for Kreider. Shot that over the net. Zibanejad keeps it in with Fox. Panarin. Spin around. Zibanejad try to funnel it through the traffic. Now Florida has it. Now make sure you don't slow up for a pass and give up something here. Just make the smart play. Reinhart. He is killing a whole bunch of time and then clears it down. That is perfect for Paul Maurice, and he's going to give you a gold star for that and get some fist bumps as he did on the bench. Gustafsson. Now for Mika. Mika will get across the Rangers logo. What a nice one that is, original 16, as this is sent back around. This is pinballed. Kept in by Zibanejad. Zibanejad now Trocheck backhand near the left side dot. Give to Vinny. Vinny now slows up, tried to shoot it off outside of the cage off Bobrovsky. This is Gustafsson, one-timer, Mika Zibanejad. Good save, Bobrovsky, and sent down the ice. As this will be Shesterkin. Slow it down. Gustafsson. They'll leave it. And now Lafreniere will get things started. Jack Roslovic, second power play line. Capocacco, Lafreniere. That was not a bad design. Try to find Wenberg. It is in the high slot, just kept in by Jack. Now to Wenberg. Wrister, big save. Bobrovsky. Power expires. This one kept in by the blue shirts. As this is another Wrister saved by Bobrovsky. And I'll have a little bit more before I hand it back over to Alec once we get another stoppage. 1-1. One more time, the Rangers power play turned away. But that was a decent tip front, but Kulikov got a...
Chris Kreider was in position to deflect that up front for his second point in this series. Zibanejad is reviewing the film with the bread man over the benches. Good power play for the Rangers. You'll maybe soon enough to break that rule, but that's the 31st penalty kill in your last 33. What an effort.
It's absolutely ridiculous considering the firepower that's on both sides of the ice. 10:53 left to go in this third. Hedl wins a draw, sets up a bomb. This one now spun around. Keandre Miller absorbs a hit. New York try to get ahead. Evan Rodriguez. Off the rush, here's a flip for Montour. He's got the Jets burning right now. He absorbs a hit. As this goes back to the inboards, and Florida sends it in. Alec, take it away.
There was a delayed offside in which the Panthers sent this through. I'll be taking over the rest of the third period. Game 5, Eastern Conference Final. What was the scoreline here? Chris Kreider and Gustav Forsling are goal scorers for the Rangers and Panthers, respectively. Great out by the Rangers. Request by Shesterkin heavily behind his crease. It is Schneider back out to the left side for Miller. This defensive pairing back together as Wenberg leads the way. Wenberg broke his stick and got tied up. Back to the other side comes Tarasenko. Good poking away as the Rangers are spent back with his puck. Wenberg with the stick. Flipped it over for Roslovic. Roslovic direct one on goal, and Bobrovsky kicked it out. No rebound. Goes to Reedon. Up through traffic. Left side. Adds down to the left circle. Fire scores! And Tyler Dell get the Panthers their 13th goal of the third period to get them up plus 13 in goal differential.
It's amazing how it works, isn't it, Alec? If you're Anton Lundell, you had those chances out front. You get a chance to go between the legs, try to make the spectacular. Shesterkin absolutely robs you a couple times off the rush. It looks like all of the Rangers are looking and hoping for an offsides, but now we're looking at the Rangers fans. They look defeated. And Igor Shesterkin, at some point, he's going to be beat if you keep firing shots at him. Right off the rush, and Lundell, nice patient drag, and it beats the hole past Shesterkin. Maybe a double screen against Tarasenko. Looks like he never saw it.
That might have been a screen by Tarasenko. One on the way as it grazed between his pad and the left and the right pad and the blocker I meant. So 2-1. It is the score line for the Panthers. Rangers on the takeaway. Center cross over to Gustafsson. Captain from Bobrovsky got a piece of it. But Eric turned around. Bobrovsky got that one as well. It's substituted catching Eddie. 9:20 goal regulation. Lundell, the go-ahead goal on the
Yeah, that's tough. And again, I don't blame Igor Shesterkin because honestly, this game, the way that it's gone, I know I haven't said it during the play-by-play or the color because I didn't want to punch the button too much. I do feel like Florida, the way that they started this third period, again, when we asked each other who had the advantage after 40, even now Florida doesn't just have the advantage because they're up on the scoreboard, but honestly, they've controlled this third period, haven't they?
Candidly, it is. They love the third period. You noted earlier in the game. This is the period when they do most of their damage here. They score 2 in game 3 of the third period. Alexi Lafreniere, Rangers go in the third period. That's maybe the outlier there. Game 1, it was the Panthers in full control of that third period. If the Alexi Lafreniere own goal, he did make up for it in game 3, however, and in game 4, he's been one of the best players for the Rangers in this postseason. But you need to have everyone come right back. It can't be just Shesterkin, Kreider, and Zibanejad doing the damage.
No, it can't. And honestly, Alec, I think it's going to be another one of those narratives that we talk. Not sure there is going to be another penalty called for the rest of the game. So most likely, unless it's something egregious, the Rangers are going to have to do this 5-on-5. Maybe that's going to be good for them because their power play has been closed out by the Florida Panther penalty kill. But they need a goal. They're a little bit distressed that Shesterkin gave up one. Honestly, this score shouldn't even be as close as it is from the start of the third. I'm not putting any blame on Shesterkin. It's now up to Bobrovsky to close the door and for the Rangers to get a 5-on-5 goal.
That is true. With the Rangers all the pressure on them to score at the 5-on-5 and the remaining 9 minutes and 12 seconds of regulation time. Perhaps a regulation win for the Rangers and a comeback.
Saturday's game 6 will be just after 8 Eastern, and that lady on the New York bench looks like she has a migraine.
Ryder side up by that flat. Zibanejad's on the hole in the far corner. Goes back over to the point. Deep right shot. And Ryder's right in front. Bobrovsky got all of it. 58. He was outed by Mr. New York himself.
The big hit is Chris Kreider after the play, and a snow all over him. He's got a battle at the net. Florida going to take exception to that. Again, if you're Florida, as we mentioned, Paul Maurice, do not get involved too much with the extracurricular here. We need everybody to stay on the ice, keep it 5-on-5, try to close it down, and take a 3-2 series.
That was with those Virgo in the playoffs, just as Verhaeghe was saying, this loose puck comes all the way back out to center. Swipe forward by the Rangers, bounced off a Panther right in front. Verhaeghe recollects over to the yards, moves around Fox. Verhaeghe cutting to the net, gets presented a puck in the last one by Fox. Gustafsson side up, Barkov is right behind net. Verhaeghe scoops it up. Near corner, Rangers have it. Up for the lane, off Zibanejad. He recollects it over the penalty box doors. Walked down by Florida, they cleared. Shots are 10-5 Panthers here in this third period. Verhaeghe looks to curl and drag right around Liquid. Second, he thoughts about it. Gustafsson can't handle it. Bennett swam towards the near corner of the boards. Panarin scoops and clears. Need to get a goal here and do it fast here. If you're the Rangers, Montour for the far side of the ice. Rodriguez tied up, shoots it around. Gustafsson the first one back, up for Zibanejad. Center around to the opposite side, and taking this up is Ryan Lindgren. Lindgren says one on goal, and one kicked out by Bobrovsky. Rodriguez can't get this one out. The Rangers have a poke on it. Montour shot once. Mika helps him. Rodriguez can't clear again. Wenberg on the hold right around. A bird whack at him finally heads out. It's good. Where's Trouba leading the way for Keandre Miller. Miller through the penalty box doors, up and about. At the far corner, Lundell tied up. Tarasenko helps him out. Coley there, Wenberg there. Some more times it's Cobb going to miss him. Away goes for Lundell. Kulikov up for side. Pass Miller. Panthers keep. Tarasenko also tied up. Trouba swipes it away from him. Cobb go over the out. And recollected by Lusterinen with Kulikov lead the way this time. Almost have to wait for some help, but Miller was on his way. Rangers recollect. It's Gustafsson. Airs this one through onto the ice. And that might be punched out by Lawrence. It's still in play. Gustafsson, one more time. Looks to reset. Bodied up by Okposo. Lafreniere twisted and turned. Panarin looks to get it in. Panarin does to drop this back over to Gustafsson. Across for Miller. Up front, this goes for the far boards. Trocheck and Panarin in the midst of it. Panarin tied up. Count him by Gustafsson. Here's spots. 100. Kicked out the rebound. And on the tire, perfect defense by Alexsander Barkov. Did not get a rebound there on the Rangers. He takes this one up. That was Lawrence wrapped. Thought it was Barkov at first, but got a jersey on his Lawrence. 18. 6-10 to go regulation. Reinhart from behind, pressuring the Rangers. Up for Taco. Swept up front. Montour got his good stick it away. Up comes Barkov. Trying to get the Rangers on the line change. Barkov fires. The rebound in front. And that was went wide. Just don't get back in the group. We stay 5-on-5. It's a pass over to the front. Reinhart. Oh, my. Igor Shesterkin has done it again.
You gotta be kidding me! Sliding from right to left post with an unreal glove save, and it puts everybody to their feet. What would the scoreline be if it wasn't for Igor Shesterkin?
Completely dominated this game. Say somewhere along the scorelines of 5-something.
Yeah, Alec, it really is. To that point, I agree. And Reinhardt's got the same face that I made. Are you kidding me? With a smile, he couldn't believe it. It has been that type of third period for the Florida Panthers. And as much as I'm impressed with Igor Shesterkin, and that's the top of the story, again, per usual. Florida Panthers one more time, and again, that's board. I thought the Rangers started this one out pretty well into that final part of the first 20 when they got a lot of turnovers, but it was pretty even. And then all of a sudden, it feels like a switch is flipped, has it not, with the Florida Panthers? The way that they can turn it on. It's more impressive because they're doing so against the New York Rangers, who are pretty much the class of the Eastern Conference as well. This is two fantastic teams going at it. And that goal from Lindell right off the rush, it's never a bad idea to just Tarasenko, as you mentioned, doesn't really track it well. He couldn't see it. And this could be the game-winning goal. There is so much time left. Maybe my overtime prediction is still, have hopes. But with 5 as this minutes continue to tick down, I just see Florida kind of leading that pace of play.
They've been pacing the pace of play here throughout this game, especially the third period. A frame in which they had come up at their biggest. It's in the clutch when it matters. And you remember, this was a team that was labeled the comeback Cats just 2 seasons ago. Here, they were basically the second coming of the Cardiac Cats, with their ability to strike right on the better teams. Now, living up to those expectations.
Yeah, this is just a spectacular goaltending performance. It honestly reminds me of guys like Martin Brodeur and Dominik Hasek. That's what Igor Shesterkin looks like. How much more is he going to have to do?
And we speak of Ranger legends like Mike Richter.
Yeah.
That's on 8 seconds for the next whistle.
And that's a good rush off the other end for the Rangers. You need that. I mean, this, for me, full send for offense. If you give up another one, you give up another one. I understand that'd be critical and you'd be down 3-2 in the series. But as long as I'll say this, if you're Peter Laviolette, don't pull a Chris Knoblauch. If you're going to pull the goalie, make sure everybody's got the puck first before you decide to go for the extra attacker.
You want to make sure you 5-on-5 first off. And before you go and pull off Shesterkin for the extra attacker, remember, the Rangers have 6 comeback wins this postseason league after having 28 in the regular season, also most of the entire league. Swiped away by Trocheck. Panarin is over to the near corner. He's tied up by Ekman, who's all over him. Panarin wanting to get this back over to the point and swipes back over to the Ranger end. Lafreniere's the first one back. He'll wait with this puck. 5-20. Pressuring is one of the Panthers. And exchange pass over to Fox. Watching it for Verhaeghe. Fox goes left for Gustafsson. Driven up for Panarin. This bounces over to Lafreniere. Tied up. And Reinhart swipes it away. It goes away from Verhaeghe. Recollected by the under 23. Fox. Trocheck who gets silenced. Forsling now from his own zone. Airs this one through the center ice. Tkachuk sends this over to the near corner. Rush with his puck. Bennett was there, so was Tkachuk. At the near half wall, Rodriguez long shot. Bounced out of play with 4:42.
I can't get over how good this game has been. I've been so spoiled from coming into Game 4 to Game 5 as we've had yet another between these two teams. Elite goaltending, elite defense. The Rangers 1-goal games at home. They might be 16-2 if they don't score in 4:42 left in the third.
Yeah, it's a scoreline that matters, folks. Even though they're 16-1 at home, in 1-goal games and going to playoffs, this may not matter anymore if the Panthers keep fighting the Rangers style of play. They need to turn things around. 34-23 to shot on goal advantage for the Panthers as the Schneider starting things up. Miller, as one Panther was on his face. He might have iced this. No, it's going to be way out in the last moment. Rushing back is Montour. Chuck, as it was 9-up for an icing, Schneider has it now. 4 minutes, 20 seconds left in regulation. Rangers need to tie goal. Miller gets one up for center. Bounces up with Montour. Ray going to the Panthers. Just kept him by Zibanejad. Who fires around the far force. Race over for the near side. And is walked over the point. Miller dropped back over to Schneider. Bouncing back for Miller. Miller wasted this, and now across for Schneider. That's where now on goal. Rebound loose in front. Going to Kreider. Back over for Schneider, who waits again. The first over to Miller. Miller walks the point. As Schneider going to it with 3:47. Schneider tied up, lost the puck. It's going to be a goal game. Shut down by Igor. Brandon Schneider now with this. Bang pass through the ice. And trying to split the gap. Will Coy is there. Coy waiting for help. Backhands one throw over to the right side. A fake, a rush, a shot. Turn aside. Gobble on Weber. Scrambled for it. Stopped by Bobrovsky. Weber can't pick it up. And that's cleared out by Florida. Ray going to by Verhaeghe. Verhaeghe looks to make his way to the net. Verhaeghe. Another save by Shesterkin. Fox wants this thing for the moment. He picks it back up. Here's Bennett sending it back to Kulakov. Long shot. And a race for his puck. Will be recollected by Bennett. Keep an eye on Shesterkin if you were to get pulled. 2:55. Kulakov. Up for the near side. Deflected inside. Shesterkin will have to play this out over to Trouba. Jacob Trouba. Opposite side. Rangers really start to rush. When does Shesterkin get pulled? That's the question. Cato says this was the first one back. And over the far side. This one's out to Bobrovsky. What a scramble to his left. Shut this down 2:36.
You got to be careful there. Bobrovsky was alert. He's not. He's been locked in because it felt like he could have had a pillow there for a few moments, as it was all on one end action. He had a partial right in. He had the defense chasing him behind there with Keandre Miller. Did a good enough job to force a one-handed chance for an easy save there for Shesterkin. And then Stanley chip off the glass actually fell right back to Bobrovsky.
And now, this is the point where Shesterkin's pulled onto the crease. He joins his buddy. These two are Vezina trophy winners together. It's been 22 years since we have a conference final between two Vezina winners.
Absolutely crazy, but it's been that kind of billing. Barkov, Trocheck, a key draw here.
Zibanejad over the box. Rangers going for the tie and goal here. Panarin for the right side. Down low go. Center pass it away there. Kept around. Verhaeghe going for the empty net. Will not come close. Zibanejad the first one back in the Ranger zone. Reinhart watching. Regulation. Zibanejad moves one through the Lafreniere. Lafreniere fires around. Tkachuk will be the first one to the far corner. This one bends around. Rangers on the keep. Right around Gretzky. This gets moved around. Low Storina. Chip this one away. Bouncing puck up for the air. Rangers trying to send this one through. Ray going to by Stan Bennett. Bennett. You bet. On the empty net. 3-1 Florida.
Hey, I know it's only an empty netter there, but the stick handle there for Sam Bennett and the boys, that was absolutely filthy. He looked like a top-line goal scorer there, Alec. That was a sick set of men.
He looked like Sidney Crosby on the ice. Sam Bennett's more for the physical forward. Usually you see more of the power forward type of moves where they may be coming home with a 3-2 series lead, barring a miracle from the Rangers. But the Rangers, they're using this position with Bennett roofing this right over Adam Fox.
Yeah, perfect time to shoot that as Fox goes right down. Shesterkin goes back in the goal crease. As Alec mentioned, New York's used to this, down and not out. This is going to be a big one at Amara Bank in the next couple of nights. Game series, but I have to say one thing, Alec, with 152 left. The Rangers cannot afford, when they go to Amherst in a couple of nights, to have this type of third period again. Otherwise, the Eastern Conference trophy and the chance to go to the Stanley Cup Final is going to belong to Florida. Because I felt like Florida living snot out of this team in the third period.
Again and again and again,
Yeah.
we keep seeing the same refrain around. The Panthers are just beating up the Rangers in the third period with Bennett. Nice move around. That might be one of the best empty
Yes.
that we've seen, John.
That was absolutely filthy. I mean, he got Zibanejad, dipsy doodle as Fox drops down. Absolutely. And the bruise and the cut near the eye, that's indicative of the way that the Florida. They're going to play defensively, and they're also going to score some pretty goals.
Now, I know the Rangers are coming back into the zone. Both Shesterkin, this one set down for the ice. And so Shesterkin can get to the crease again with 143. And regardless of result here, if the Rangers do go down 3-2 in this series, question, do we see some sort of guarantee from Chris Kreider?
You know what? I think you might have to. If Mark Messier is able to do it, why not do it for Chris Kreider? He's definitely. I mean, he could score a hat trick in big games. Why not?
I know it's cheeky because of the possibility. Zibanejad, big claw. That's wide the net. Out inside by Panarin. His goes around Zibanejad. One last gasp of air. Empty nets. This is out for Florida. Panthers playing defensive hockey for the last 1 minute and 26 seconds. Bunch of the Rangers fans that have left the building here. It's a 3-1 score line. This one cleared all the way down for the ice. Waved off. And the first one back is Panarin. Up front for Fox. Fox leading the way in for far side up for Lafreniere. Wade, Gustav, Forsling, moved around his drop back. Set up for Fox. Moves walking the point. Fox taking his time on his long shot. That went wide. Ring going to my Trocheck. Last minute of play. Fox, there's a broken stick onto the ice. Tie up down low. This goes back for Zibanejad. The shot score! The Rangers get one back. It's not over yet.
No, it's not. There's tons of time. Is Mika able to deposit one? I think Lafreniere as well is also going to get some points on that, as we'll get that all squared away to who scores it. I think this is going to go to Lafreniere. So he's been hot. Still tons of time. Who knows if Florida wants to take their time out, but they got to make sure they stay composed. You don't want to try to get this one to OT, considering it feels like it should already be done.
I know some of the Rangers fans have been leading from. They were wondering if they can get back onto MSG.
Yes.
Yeah, I wonder, because if they do a miracle, if they do tie it up and force overtime with the 45 seconds they have left, there's no time. Rangers fans on their feet. Mika, who's shoved down. Alexei Lafreniere. He recollects this. Shesterkin has to go all the way back onto his crease because it's an icing.
And you had it out there for Mika Zibanejad in the sense that got redirected. No kicking motion. Lafreniere just angles his skate. He does so to get a stick in off of the player's bench, and then that turns into a goal there for Alexei Lafreniere. That was gorgeous work. He could do. Still business to attend to with 42.3 left and Florida up 3-2.
42.3 seconds. You have Lafreniere on the ice as an extra attacker. Bob sets things up. They have to go the entire length for 36. Zibanejad sets up Panarin. The far side. Andy Miracle. Sent through. Kreider the first one to near corner. Extra attacker is out. Kreider behind the net. Wrapped up by Mika. Looks out inside. This goes down the ice. No icing. 20 seconds to go. Zibanejad. Or the Rangers get a miracle. This one down the ice. To the near corner. Mika picks this one up. 12 seconds. Spun around several times. Fight for this puck. Panthers trying to run out the rest of this puck. 5 seconds. The Rangers trying to this one up. They're not going to get a last shot here. The Florida Panthers hold and come back to Amherst Arena of a chance to Stanley Cup Final.
Now he gets some pushing and shoving to the right side. Glass alongside Sam Bennett. Hey, why not? You've already had a fantastic game. Why not get some extra words in there as well? And again, Florida, you win that dominating game one. You have to suffer two critical defeats. Split on the home ice, and then you have big time brass, you know what, to go back out there at MSG and 3-2. Bennett, Lundell, big goals in the third period to answer a Alexei Lafreniere one late. This was another third period that I thought was dominant from the Florida Panthers, and they could end this one at Emirates Bank in a couple of nights. I know I'll be back on the call on Saturday, and then on Sunday I'll plan on finishing out as well in between Dallas and Edmonton should we get to that point. But I am so impressed with again tonight, and I'm also so impressed with Shesterkin and the way that he played. And not to be lost in all of this, because for as many flowers as I want to give Igor Shesterkin, 34 of 36, Sergei Bobrovsky, 25 of 27. It seems like every single time Shesterkin plays well, Bobrovsky is right there, Alec, and the Panthers are now in the driver's seat.
Who would have guessed that this game would have been empty netter from Sam? All types of goals to come from for a game winner. This was a dominant third period showing from the Panthers, as he noted out. And for the fourth straight one-goal game, it did not take overtime, or as long as the Rangers wanted to send it to overtime. But the Panthers, they showed out on all fronts. Defensively, shutting down the Rangers on the ferocious punch again. The third period closeout again for their own comeback victory. I know for a fact we speak of Dallas teams, and it looks like they're all but finished here in Minnesota. Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving will close out the game with 36 each. So we're shy of Luka getting to 40 points, but he really didn't have to, as he and Kyrie had yet another spectacular showing with 36 each. Anthony Towns with 28 each, with Towns getting top 12 rebounds, Luka 10 rebounds and 5 assists with 2 steals. And for what it's worth, the Dallas Mavericks, they'll have a date with the Boston Celtics in the NBA Final.
Yeah, it's pretty good when you had your backcourt already in multiple 60-point games. Well, they even impressed themselves as they've combined for 72. Kyrie Irving, 14 of 27. Luka Doncic, 14 of 22. Kyrie, 4-10 from deep. Luka, 6 of 10 from deep. Absolutely masterful performance from the backcourt and the Dallas Mavericks, as you said, who will be playing the Boston Celtics. Look at the calendar side of it a week from today, next Thursday on the 6th. So when I come back in a couple days, we'll take a look at the Florida Panthers and the New York Rangers one more time in Game 6 and see if the Panthers can get it done. I do think that the Rangers can force Game 7. I don't know what it's going to take for the Rangers to figure things out in the third period or be able to stop that unrelenting attack because, Alec, I'll say it like this. In between the 3-1 comeback against the Boston Bruins last year, all the way to the Vegas Golden Knights when they were just too injured, nobody in this league has been able to figure out Florida Panthers forecheck and how dominant they can be. And one more time, they've proven it today. And that's the impressive part to me because the Rangers from top to bottom are an exceptionally good team, and even they're getting pushed around.
And they are. It feels like there's just no answer from the Rangers in the last 2 games of the counterattacks, even though the Rangers, they're built on adversity. We'll see if they're tested once again in Game 6, but they need to have an answer in this third period. There has to be a discussion in the locker room between Peter Laviolette's staff and his players come Game 6 for there to be a discussion on a turnaround. Then we can speak of guarantees around between Chris Kreider, Mark Messier. I know they've been in this situation before, with their backs against the wall. But only one thing that we know, if we're going 6, the Rangers, they can certainly force a Game 7 back at MSG. It's doable because for one trend, home ice advantage can pretty much even out, but it's been more 40-60 for home ice advantage, closer towards not there than it is to be there.
And again, the only other thing that we can say right now before we close it out, again, the Panthers killed 13 of 14 power plays against the Rangers. And that's the other thing. We talk about the 5-on-5 and everything get it done. Well, the Rangers' power play has been ridiculous up until playing the Panthers right now. They've got to find a way to just get the man advantage, and then maybe they can force Game 7. But I know I'll see you in a couple days. Thank you for joining me for this one. We've been working on some solo calls. It was good to link back up when we get a chance to do so. Let's try to do it again on Saturday night.
Yeah, I'll check back with you for Game 6 Saturday. Let's do it.
Sounds good, man. We'll talk then.